'Tis Wednesday. 'Tis Wednesday. It is, right? I said that with so much confidence, and then I was like, wait a minute, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday. I can tell you this: it's been a tough week so far. The Eagles lost. Wasn't great. Let me just get this football talk out of the way, okay? Let me just go ahead and rant for a second. That is, every time the Eagles do well, they lose their offensive coordinator, because then their offensive coordinator ends up being a head coach for some other team, okay? Every single time. Then every time the Eagles offensive coordinator does a bad job, he gets to boot. He gets fired, which is appropriate. I like that. But here's the point. Here's the problem. Every time the Eagles have to get a new offensive coordinator, I go through the same problem. Every time. Run the goddamn football. Just run the goddamn football. It shouldn't be hard. You have Saquon Barkley. Run the goddamn football. You're up 17-3. Your defense is playing well. And Saquon Barkley has 5 fucking carries. Run the fucking football. Just very fucking upset right now. I don't understand. Eagles are playing the Giants tomorrow. So Saquon could go for 200 tomorrow. But that's only if they fucking run the football. It's not hard. You have the best offensive line in football. You have a fucking mobile quarterback, and you have a fucking running back with quads bigger than most people's bodies. Run the goddamn football. All right. I had to get that out. Guys. It's been inside of me for a while here. It's tough to watch. Anyways. I woke up today, and I was looking at the news, and I was like, it's kind of weird because it's like a slower week with news. And then I realized when the government shut down, it's kind of quiet. Not totally quiet. This is never actually quiet during a Trump administration, but it's quieter. It's like we went from 100 to 85. And I was like, wow, this is almost like I can almost keep up with this news cycle. I kind of like this. We could maybe just go ahead and keep the government shut down. I'm kind of feeling that. And I heard that ICE people don't get paid during this time. So I'm pretty good with that too. Most of these fucking ICE agents probably can't go more than a week or two without being paid. So I think this is going to be really good. I say shut it down. Keep it shut down. Let's do it. That's what I say. All right. I was just saying, there is some stuff to cover. We got plenty of stuff. There's always plenty of stuff to cover. I will not be on this space tomorrow. No, Mike, I will not be on this space tomorrow. I am going to my buddy's wife's birthday. I cannot miss the personal interactions. The people, number one. Always number one, the people. Good job, the people. Woke Mike, number 2. What's happening, Woke Mike? Alan, what's going on? Silent Siren and Bucket, 2 of the best moderators on YouTube. What's up, guys? Let's see, who else? You didn't get a notification. I don't know what that is, Alan. I think YouTube messes with stuff. I swear they do. What's happening, Tammy? I did see Miller pulling a Mitch. That was pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's see. Who else is here? Nightbot. Nightbot's always putting in work. Good job, Nightbot. Mountain Bike. We did start with sports. It was a very rough week for the fans. The Saints did win. That was a good win by the Saints. I think I said, I would like to say that I think I told Tammy that the Seahawks, maybe it wasn't Tammy, it was probably somebody else. I told somebody that the Seahawks would beat the Cardinals. That happened. And I did tell Cajun last week that the Saints would beat the Giants. I'm 2 for 2. I'm doing pretty good. I feel pretty good about my picks so far this year. Oh, Jesus, what did I do? I pushed the buttons. Okay, let's see. Who else is here? Got to say hi to everybody. Stop thinking about your team when they lose. I know that feeling till next game. Till next game. Sorry, I don't mean to yell at you over football, but it makes me angry. Paul! What's going on, Paul? What's going on, buddy? You saw a cartoon about ice not being paid? That's amazing. Good. Liz! What's happening, Liz? Okay. All right. I said hi to everybody. We got a lot to cover because I'm not going to be here tomorrow. So like I said, I am going to a friend of mine's wife's birthday party. My friend's wife is my friend. She's amazing. She's ex-bodybuilder. Super dope. Cool people. My favorite people. And they were nice enough to invite me to go hang out with them. So I will not be here tomorrow for this space, but I'm sure they'll play some kind of content or something to take my place. They always have somebody that's ready to go. So I won't be here tomorrow. The only shows this week will be tonight's show and then Saturday's show. And then, all of the videos that normally get cut up and put out on the channel, this channel, on the Angry Ginger Live Clips channel. So you guys can always check out those videos as well and, drop a comment, hit the like button, make fun of a MAGA supporter. Super fun times. Coffee is hot and delicious, and we are raring to go. So let's get this party started. Oh, wait, we got to get all the books in. Okay. Yeah, make sure George Marshall's in there. America is failing George Marshall right now. Okay. All right, so we got quite a bit to go over today. See what we got? I have this video again queued. This one is the ideological fractures in the right-wing coalition. Once again, I'm pretty sure I've been subscribed to this channel for a while, but I guess not. We have Stephen Miller having to watch AOC berate him, and I haven't watched any Jesse Dollemore in a while. And so I figured we'll bring Jesse into it. It's been a minute since I supported my ginger friends. So Jesse's, we're going to get Jesse back in here. Okay. I think Bucket Kid introduced me to Jesse. We've got Ruben Gallego and Mark Kelly standing outside of Mike Johnson's office doing a government shutdown press conference that he decided to crash. So that's going to be good. Look, this show pretty much today, this show is mostly going to be just about people talking trash about each other. This is a people talking trash to each other show tonight. Because almost everything, it just happens that way. I look for things, and when I look for things, I come across a lot of stuff that is similar in this fashion, right? We've got an unearthed racist video of Stephen Miller drops as his family outs him from Keith Edwards. I know you guys are shocked. You guys are shocked that there would possibly be some video of Stephen Miller being racist. But guys, just calm down a little bit. You're going to see here pretty soon that this is true, because Keith Edwards would never lie to us. We've got the Trump administration closing a criminal investigation in an evangelical university. Yeah, the covering up of the pedos continues in this administration. It's going well for the pedos in this administration. Going real well for them. We've got the Pope talking shit about Trump and telling American bishops to continue to fight the good fight. So we got that. We got this garbage pastor from MAGA calling for the execution of rebellious black youth, citing death by stoning in the Old Testament. We got Jane Goodall talking shit about Trump. Jane, rest in peace, Jane Goodall. I quickly posted after Jane Goodall passed that if people didn't start posting about Jane Goodall dying, that I was going to call their work and get them fired. I felt like that was the right thing to do. Speaking of, we've got infighting as Charlie Kirk's text messages get leaked. So we've got that about Tucker Carlson. And then actually the response from Turning Point USA, which I think will surprise you guys. I think you guys are actually going to be a little surprised on that one. We've got the alleged Grindr messages from Mike Johnson. Okay? And, guys, tell me, did Hakeem Jeffries do something? Did Hakeem Jeffries, did he stand up for himself, guys? Did it happen? Because I heard rumors. I got home from work, I heard rumors that Hakeem Jeffries may have told a Republican to shut their mouth. Did Hakeem Jeffries stand up for himself, guys? Are we watching this young man grow into a real adult human being? Is that what's going on right now? So we got a lot to cover. Hope you guys are ready for this. There's a lot of talking shit on this episode. So much talking shit. No, I'm not bringing Roscoe. What's happening, Redong? No way. No way am I bringing Roscoe on stream. Silence says he did? Is it true? Did he do it? All right. We're going to start with that. I'm excited. I am so excited, guys. We raised him well. He told someone to shut up. Oh. All right. So let's start then. We got Adam Mockler here watching the Hakeem Jeffries battle. I don't know if you guys saw Adam Mockler call a bunch of drunk Trump fans a bunch of retards, but that was not on my bingo card. That wasn't on my bingo card at all. Okay, to be 100 on it, I believe he said, you guys are all retarded. Okay, I don't want to put any words in Adam Mockler's mouth, but I believe he was trying to debate a bunch of drunk Trump supporters and he lost his shit. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Hey, what's happening, 5 Alarm Fire? Status Coup. Oh, I know who the Status Coup. I did a video on Status Coup a long time ago. Oh, Mike Lawler, who I like to call Jerry Lawler. I like to call him Jerry Lawler. Okay. Well, hopefully Pep can come on over. Come on over, Pep Talks. I have not seen one restream message. I wonder if my restream's working today. It might not be. I haven't really looked into the Bill Burr stuff, Golf. I mean, I've watched Aziz Ansari talk about the Saudi Arabian stuff. I've watched some girl talk about it. I haven't seen Bill Burr's response to it. I don't know how I feel about that yet because watching Aziz Ansari talk about it, he made some good points. It's hard to keep up with all of this shit. And I don't like to talk there's so many people that get on YouTube that they just fire off. They're just like, I'm just going to tell you whatever the fuck I think about all this shit. And they've either barely seen it or read a headline, and I don't want to be that person. So I haven't looked into it enough. I know that my most basic opinion of it is that don't go to Saudi Arabia and do comedy because fucking human rights and shit and billionaires and all that shit feels gross. But like I said, I did see Aziz Ansari talking a little bit about it, and as much as maybe I'm biased towards saying that they shouldn't be doing it, he did make a couple good points, and I was like, I'm just one of those people. I'm not I try not to get so fucking overhyped with my own opinion and emotional bias on shit that I only talk shit. From the Facts Bill officially sucks now. You're going to be hard to convince me that Bill Burr sucks. You have to remember that my show is a show of giving people paths to redemption, and if anybody has earned a path to redemption, it's Bill Burr. So you guys are going to have a very hard time convincing me to just throw Bill Burr out the window. It's going to be tough. He's also my ginger people. He gets a second path to redemption if necessary. That's how I roll. Hate me if you want. That's how I roll. Pep Raid. Well, welcome to the chat, guys. Welcome to the chat. We're gonna have Pep Talks come on this show because I have figured out, I think, how to get the restream to work. I think I could do it. I think I can bring somebody on and my internet not completely take a shit. I think that's a possibility, so we might make that happen. I will look into the Bill Burr thing, Golf Marine. All right, I'll look into it. And I'm telling you now, don't hold your breath. All right? There's a very low chance that Bill Burr could possibly say anything that would make me disown him. Look, everybody's wrong. Okay? Everybody's wrong. Everybody makes bad choices. We are all flawed, imperfect human beings. And Bill Burr has never been a perfect human being. So I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna watch it. But I'm not one of these people, Golf. I'm not one of these people. Who is it? Who the fuck came in? Oh, fucking AOC, bro. She voted present during the giving guns to Israel. I'm not fucking throwing AOC out because she fucking voted present, guys. I told you guys before, I don't make any money off this shit, so all you're going to hear is my actual opinion on stuff. I have no audience capture. I'm not disowning AOC because she voted present on fucking weapons to Israel. I'm not disowning Bill Burr. Well, I can't say I'm not disowning Bill Burr yet because I haven't seen it. I don't want to have to come back on here and make an apology video of my own. I don't do that. I just don't do it. I just don't do that. I'm not willing to. But we'll see. All right. I've waxed poetically long enough. I will look at the Bill Burr video as soon as I have a chance, Golf Marine. All right, I'll watch it. I swear to God. But let's talk about good things, because God damn it, why does the left always do this? I'm like, we're having a good day. Hakeem Jeffries told somebody to shut up, and the left's like, did you know that somebody on our side actually did something wrong? We can't possibly have like a good thing happen. We need to fucking eat our own every day. It's important. God damn it. I told I was doing something the other day. My boss. We'll get to the video in a minute. Here, let's go big me so I can rant. I was saying the perfect example happened the other day. So I was in a meeting. I think it was actually yesterday. I was in a meeting, and my boss, pretty liberal guy, probably more liberal than I am, smarter guy than I'll ever be. But we were in a meeting, and somebody had asked me, speaking of departments and where things were going economically, I said, I have a very pessimistic outlook on the economy moving forward. When you hear stats like, and this is the way I said it. At the time, what I said was, looking at the fact that you have 25% of Americans are using buy now, pay later services for groceries, that's not a good indicator of the economy being good moving forward, right? And my boss, and I do this too. I do this to people, so it was karma. My boss said, from the other room, came in, interrupted the meeting, and was like, hey man, I just want to let you know, what you said was 25% of Americans, but that's not true. And I'm in the middle of the meeting, so I'm kind of like, what? Why? And he's like, well, it's not 25% of Americans. It's 25% of Americans that use the buy now, pay later services. And he was right, because the actual statistics for it are something like 55 to 60% of all adult Americans use buy now, pay later services. 25% of those adults are now using it to pay for their groceries. Now, my reasoning behind what I was doing was somebody was asking me what my economic outlook was, and I was making the point, obviously, that America's not in a good place, and specifically when we have to buy now, pay later on our groceries, that really speaks to it. So this is what I'm saying is this is what the left does. This is what we do to each other, myself included. Is the gist of what I'm saying is correct. But because on the left we're so self-critical and we want to be so on point with what we believe as being correct and within the right context and with the right facts, that we can't help but jump in and go, that thing you said, overall emotionally I agree with it, but actually the facts are wrong. And like I said, there's in this situation, it's nothing wrong with him correcting me, because we're talking to each other, and he's telling me that the way I said it was incorrect, and that was the right thing to do. But I thought that it was kind of the prime example of what the left does to the left out in front of people. Like, the right could literally say brown people bad, and no one around them is going to correct anything they say. But the left, knowing that what you're trying to say is that we're in a poor economic situation, agreeing with the fact that you're in a poor economic situation, and recognizing that you're not trying to be misleading but may have misspoken, will still jump in and tell you, actually, you said 6 people, but it was only 5. Because we love to eat our own. And it's not It's not, like I said, not a bad thing when it's contained. When we talk to each other and we criticize our beliefs, we should be doing that. But I've said it before, the right needs 3 short grunts to get any message across to the people that follow them. Lock her up 4 more years, stop the steal, like whatever you want, like that's all they need. Meanwhile, if you ask me anything about my beliefs, I need 9 paragraphs to explain to you, because I've existed in this sphere of having people question any little small thing about something that I believe that actually agrees with me. So I mean, you guys have literally seen me do it before. I'm sitting up here and I start saying something and I go, and I know what you fuckers are going to say right now. Yeah, man, but... And then I start fucking going on like I'm having the argument with you. Technically. Yeah, exactly. Earl Grey. Welcome to the chat, Earl. All right. I actually, my boss probably disowned Bill Burr. I think he brought it up. He probably did bring it up. I think I interrupted him while he was talking. I interrupt people way too much, to be honest with you. Okay. I've ranted long enough. Thank you, Golf, for giving me a reason to bring up that story, though. I appreciate you. I needed to have a reason, and I forgot to bring it up, so good job. By the way, those statistics are true. 60% of adult Americans have said they have used a buy now, pay later service. So the opposite of layaway, right? Like you get your product and then you pay payments on it. So the reason they're doing this is because people have maxed out their credit cards, right? So there's no more credit cards, and yet these grocery stores still want you to buy stuff from them. So now they're allowing you to buy groceries now and then pay it in installments. So 60% of adult Americans claim that they have used buy now, pay later services. Last year, I think 13% of those people, once again, speak correctly, I have been corrected, 13% of those people that use those services said that they used it to buy groceries. You can use it to buy technology, you can use it to buy apparel, other things as well, obviously like cars, houses, things like that too. But that number has increased to 25% of those people now say they have used buy now, pay later services for groceries. That's fucking insane. That's insane. We should go into the statistics on that sometime. I love statistics. I do. I love them too much. I love them way too much. Yes, in DDAG, I deal with these people often, and it drives me bananas. If you use one generalization about people or anything remotely discriminatory about the 2% that aren't in that category. Yes, exactly. I mean, I just used the R word a minute ago. I don't use the R word very often. Sometimes I use it in describing what somebody said, and sometimes I use it in describing Republicans. I love the joke where people go, there's a guy, and he goes, it's really funny. They call people on the left libtards. Libtards, it's liberal and tard, he goes, and they think they're really, really funny, really funny. He goes, the funny thing about that is if you were to use that for Republicans, it would just be retards. And I was like, that's good. That's good. That's funny. Like I said, you have to be good at what you do. You got to be good at it. Anyways, before I get canceled, we better get to these fucking videos. I think I just lost like 87 subscribers. All right. So this is our boy Hakeem Jeffries standing up for his fucking self. I can't believe it. Hakeem Jeffries, guys, allegedly has stood up for himself, guys. And I will need to see this to believe it, guys. He's got his hands in his pockets. He looks like he's ready. It looks like I said, when we saw the Hakeem Jeffries with the baseball bat thing, I was like, that's not you, dog. Like, don't do that. But this right here, this stance from Hakeem Jeffries makes it look like he has had enough of both the right making fun of him, the left making fun of him. He has had enough. So let's watch our boy Adam Mockler talk about this. And let's hope that Hakeem, I want to see it. I need to see it, Hakeem Jeffries. Let's see it.
And talk over me because you and talk over me because you don't want to hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm listening.
So why don't you just keep your mouth shut?
Oh!
Because you showed up.
Boy, it is heating up in...
Oh, dude. Oh, that was good. There you go, buddy. Let's get that one more time. That felt good. You know why? Because it looked like he was trying to do his Hakeem Jeffries. He was trying to do the, like, I'm just talking. And then it looked like he actually got pissed off. And that's what you should be. You should be pissed off.
And talk over me because you don't want to hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm listening.
So why don't you just keep your mouth shut?
Yes! 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 Hakeem! That's what I'm talking about. One more time. I need one more time.
And talk over me because you don't want to hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm listening.
So why don't you just keep your mouth shut? Because you showed up. You showed up.
Boy, it is...
Oh, and you got just right here. Can you guys see? Look at who's the little guy in the back? Who's the little guy? Everybody looks like, dude, they look like it's like a high school. Everybody's surrounded, waiting for the fight to happen.
Is that the way
you showed up?
Boy, it is heating up in D.C. as representatives are confronting each other on Capitol Hill over this government shutdown that is now pushing into 1 week. It started off with Representative Mike Johnson getting confronted by Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona and Ruben Gallego of Arizona. They walk up and they confront Speaker.
We're gonna watch this video later, but we'll see here. We'll watch the rest of this with Adam Mockler. We're gonna watch this video a little bit later and do it ourselves, but we'll just let Adam do it.
Of the House, Mike Johnson, who honestly doesn't give very satisfying answers. Then not long after, this video comes out of Representative Mike Lawler confronting Leader Hakeem Jeffries. And honestly, Jeffries really sticks the landing in this video. I think he does a great job of combating the talking points, the BS coming from MAGA. On top of that, he's convincing. He's confident. He's quick on his feet, and he kind of just rolls over the other person. I'm going to play this interaction in 1 second, but let's start off with this interaction of Senator Gallego and Senator Kelly confronting Mike Johnson over his refusal to swear.
Dude, you got an astronaut, an ex-Marine, and a pedo protector. Like, just think about that for 1 second, what you have right there. You have an astronaut and an ex-Marine on the Democrat side, and on the other side you got little Moses Mike Johnson. Little Johnson.
In Representative...
What's happening, Suzanne? Good to see you.
Representative Grijalva from Arizona. This representative just won a special election after her father passed away. She is supposed to be sworn in. She was supposed to be sworn in weeks ago. This is the longest delay in American history.
And actually, a couple people asked me right before the government shut down whether or not I thought that he would swear in on time. And I believe my answer to them was that, like, he says he's going to. We'll see what happens. I kind of knew that if the shutdown happened, that they would use it as a reason to not actually get her into office. Swear
it's for a few reasons. First of all, the Epstein files could be released if she is sworn in. She would be the 218th vote. Secondly, it gives Republicans less leverage overall. And overall, they're just kind of breaking the system to try to get ahead, as they do over and over and over.
And by the way, I think it was Jim Jordan was asked by Caitlin Collins on CNN why they hadn't sworn her in yet. And Jim Jordan tried to hide behind tradition and say, oh, like, we have to have everybody there, and that's how this works. And Caitlin Collins actually called him out directly to his face that Randy Fine, and one other Republican have both been sworn in during this Congress without the entire Congress being present. So, you know, this is just, they're full of shit. And this is what I'm saying. This is why Hakeem Jeffries needs to stay 10 toes down on this and tell people on the other side when they're talking over him to shut their fucking mouth. Because they don't have any respect for Democrats. They have zero respect for Democrats. And they're just going to talk shit. And then they're gonna criticize them because they know that the left will then go and self-criticize. Recently, you had the Jay Jones text come out in the race in Virginia, where a text where Jay Jones said something along the lines of about some Republican. It was like you got Hitler, Pol Pot, and this Republican guy in the same room. You got two bullets, and he said two for the Republican speaker. Most of the time, I'm going to be on the side of like, well, yeah, like that's not something that we ever want to see, right? Like that's not something. But if you think for 1 second that any Republican that had a text message like that would be forced to step down from a race, I've got a fucking bridge to sell you. And the left needs to recognize that. There's so many people on the left right now that are like, well, maybe Jones should actually, step out, actually, and it's like they waited to release those texts until the race was happening, until the voting was happening, because they know that if he's forced to remove himself, there's no way that whoever replaces him is going to win. The left needs to grow a fucking backbone, and they need to be smarter, and they need to fight fire with fire, and they need to shut their mouth.
This time, they're not swearing in someone who won an election. So this clip is long, but I'm going to let it play out.
It just keeps on moving.
Yeah, it's not great if you want representation.
Last week
there's 750.
Wait, let me address answer the question.
Stephen Colbert's gay little bro. Golf Marine.
Long, but I'm going to let it play out.
It just keeps on moving.
It's not great if you want representation.
Last week
there's 750.
Wait, let me address answer the question. We're happy that she got elected. She's filling her father's seat. That's fantastic. We have a long tradition here and a process of how we administer the oath to a member. He served here for a while. We're going to,
like I said, 2 people, 2 Republicans, they've already subverted that tradition.
that as soon as we get back to work, but we need the lights turned back on, so we encourage both of you to go open the government.
Didn't we
so
don't do it.
Virginia Republican swore the person in under the same circumstance?
The exception is there were 2 Floridians who were elected in a special election. This happened a couple months back. They were here on a day, they had their families here, they had a scheduled day for the oath of office, and the House was called out of session that day. They had all their family and friends here, so we went ahead and went through the process in a performance.
With all due
Let me
respect,
finish. Wait, let me answer the question if you're going to ask it. And so that
Dude, see? You need Hakeem Jeffries right now.
that was the exception we did because the family was here. Ms. Grijalva, Rep-elect Grijalva, has not yet had a scheduled date because she was elected after the House was out of session. So I am anxious to administer the oath to her.
How much is this
as soon as
actually?
you guys vote to open the
Be on
government.
the Epstein. You don't want to be on the Epstein discharge. How much?
It's totally absurd. You guys are experts at red herrings and
Moving
distraction.
along.
No, I'm not. It has nothing to do with Epstein. The House Oversight
No!
Committee. The House Oversight Committee
How
is
much
working
is it?
on the Epstein files right now, releasing 34,000 pages and more on the way.
You know she's key to
Let
that
me
discharge
finish. Let me
petition.
finish. The House
You
Oversight
just
Committee.
keep coming up with excuses. This is an excuse so she doesn't
Good
sign
job.
on to that.
This is absurd.
This is the longest time the House
Do you
has
want me
been
to
out of
answer the
session.
question? If you ask
You know what he should say there? He should say, you're right. This is absurd. It is absurd. The fact that you're going to sit here in front of me and act like you are not attempting to squash the release of the Epstein files is fucking absurd.
this
Because
question,
you're
let me
not
answer.
actually answering the question. This
Okay.
entirely has to do with the
Okay,
Epstein
you
list.
see, this is a publicity stunt. Let me tell you what's happening. The House Oversight Committee is working on the release of the Epstein files. There are some of the biggest bulldogs in Congress and the Republican and Democrat side who are working on that aggressively.
By the way, the Epstein files are getting released by Republicans right after they released the Matt Gaetz files from a year or 2 back. Remember?
Yeah, remember
Speaker
that?
of the House Mike Johnson was the person who intentionally covered up whatever the DOJ was alleging Matt Gaetz did. We know that he sent Venmo payments, but there was allegedly a deeper investigation into Matt Gaetz' actions. It was covered up by Speaker of the House Mike Johnson.
Solid call by Adam Mockler. Because like I said before, it's hard to remember all the crazy shit that has been going on in this administration. I myself did not remember what he's talking about right there. Good job, Adam Mockler.
It was so bad, Matt Gaetz literally resigned from his seat. Why isn't this talked about more? That we had a high-profile mainstream Republican resign due to sex allegations that were being investigated. Why isn't this talked about more? The reason I'm looping this back is because now it seems like they're covering up more
I
stuff.
met with the victims before they went out and did the press conference, and the House Oversight is doing its job. Did you know? You might not, because we haven't been in session. The House Oversight has its lawyers in New York City combing through the Epstein estate files. None of that had been anticipated by discharge petitions or anything else. They have subpoenas that are being supplied, they're being followed through on by the Department of Justice. We have more subpoenas that are outstanding for big name persons, Democrats and Republicans, and there are more documents coming through. They're doing the work, they're doing it methodically, they're doing it with subpoena power, and you don't need an act of Congress for that to happen because they're already on it.
So then
and I was
why are you
in
still
the room with all of
Why are you
them.
blocking her then?
I'm not blocking her. I just
This
told
is the
you.
long.
So why are you blocking her? And that's what it needs to always go back. Because look, I said this about J.D. Vance when J.D. Vance debated Tim Walz. I said before that debate, I said, this is bad for the Democrats because J.D. Vance is an actual politician. J.D. Vance is slimy. He's underhanded. He's shady. He's going to be able to, slip and slide his way through this. When you watched J.D. Vance go on Joe Rogan, you saw the politician, J.D. Vance. Let me talk about my kids. I'm just a normal person, just like you guys, Just like everything in my life, man, I grew up in a trailer park and my mom did pills, man. And like everything that's going on in my life is the same thing that goes on in your guys' life, man. I'm just like you. And he, for the most part, sane washed Donald Trump being who Donald Trump is and the crazy shit that he says. And Mike Johnson is a better politician than J.D. Vance is. And this just needs to always be brought back to, if there was nothing to hide, then we wouldn't need this woman to be sworn in to release the Epstein files. If there was nothing to hide, we wouldn't be talking about it because they would have already been released. This just needs to continue to come back to this over and over and over again.
It was subpoena power, and you don't need an act of Congress for that to happen because they're already on it.
So then
and I was
so why are you
in
still-
the
why-
room with all of
Why are you
them.
blocking her then?
I'm not blocking her. I just
This
told
is
you.
the longest time that House of Representatives has been out of session. That's not in a regular office session. This is the longest time it's taken for someone to be sworn in, and it all happens to coincide with the fact that she's going to be the deciding vote on the discharge petition.
I know why.
He said
Yeah,
something
that's
very
really
important there.
weird.
This is the longest it's ever taken to swear somebody in who won an election.
You're upset. I know why you're upset.
Mike,
you
I
get a lot
gotta-
of heat because the government is closed down, and you guys
Well, we're
made
not.
the decision.
Actually, no.
You, wait,
Mike,
you
I
made
got
it
a-
5
Mike,
times
Mike,
to
I
keep
got
the
a
government
request.
closed.
I got a
Yes.
The gaslighting, I love it. I love the gaslighting from Mike Johnson. He's like, you guys are mad because you shut the government down. Dude, you're sitting there smugly talking about how you won't let this representative be sworn in, and the government shut down while you guys have power, and you're going to point to 2 Democrats and say it's their fault?
Yeah.
Let's see what Senator Kelly has to say. I know he'll bring it home.
Yes.
Why don't we do this? Why don't you bring back your Republican members so we can have a serious negotiation with
We're
them
going to have plenty of
about this?
negotiations as
Well, why
soon
don't
as you
we-
open the
why don't
government.
we- Why don't we
Let me
bring
tell
it
you why
back?
they're not here, because the House
I
did
mean,
its job.
14 days since July 25th.
Yeah, and real people
They've
are
been
feeling
on
real pain.
And they've been on an extended summer
If I feel the
vacation.
pain with
They're not on
So you
vacation.
bring it back.
Wait a minute,
I have
wait
an
a minute.
opportunity. I
Hey,
can talk
just
to
a minute.
every one of my Republican colleagues down there, and we're talking about
Every
this
day
all
we're
the
talking
time.
Yeah, and they're talking about it over here as well.
And
keep
our
your members
Republican
hidden.
members from Arizona, where are they? They
They're,
are
they're in
in
their
Arizona.
district. They're in their districts working.
They're sitting.
Wait a minute.
They're sitting.
Oh, hey,
they're
Mike
sitting-
Lawler. They did
They
their
are
job.
sitting in their
Come here, Mike
basements.
Lawler from New York. Tell
With
them.
all due respect, you voted multiple times to keep the government shut down, okay? The Republican members from Arizona voted to keep the government open.
tell me-
So don't sit here and try to lecture us about
So
whether
tell
or
me
not
what's
we
gonna
did
happen.
Dude, don't tell me Hakeem Jeffries is going to do a better job than Mark Kelly. Don't do this to me, man. Don't do this to me, man. Come on, Mark. Dude, you guys know that Mark Kelly was my choice for vice president. He was an astronaut, guys. He went to space. All right? Mark Kelly was my choice. Mark Kelly, do not let me down right here, brother. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, you're going to let these people just disrespect you right to your face. You're going to let them talk and let them raise their voice at you? Like, my dude, please do not let me down.
multiple times to keep the government shut down, okay? The Republican members from Arizona voted to keep the government open.
They did.
So don't sit here and try to lecture us about
So
whether or
tell me
not
what's
we
gonna
did
happen
our
with the
job.
premiums
We
in
did
your
our
district?
job. You did not.
What's going to
you're not
happen
doing
with
your
your
job
premiums? What
right
happens to
now.
ACA premiums?
Oh, you
Nobody's
mean
here.
the bill that I'm signed on to
Oh,
extend it? Oh, yeah,
when is-
cute,
when
right,
is that gonna
because you know
happen?
what? We actually have put forth legislation to do it. You guys just keep pontificating. How about you go down the hall
we're having
and
a
go
show.
vote
You
to
know that
open the
that's not
government
going
up?
on.
That
It continues to get heated. Then Mike Lawler goes,
Dude, I am sad. I'm sad that Mark Kelly didn't fucking... And this is it. This is it. You know, me and Visora want to have a show where we talk about this. And that is how feckless Democratic politicians are. I like Mark Kelly. I do like Mark Kelly. His wife, you know, was a victim of gun violence that was fucking horrendous. And she's still a tough-ass person. Like, I think that, you know, there's so much to be said about the fact that really foundationally we do have the same beliefs as far as people being treated equally, about like what needs to be done in this country. But the difference between, I think, the citizenry, the people who are voting, the constituents, and the people that are supposedly, representing them, is that people are tired. They're fed the fuck up, and it's rightfully so. It's rightfully so. People have had enough of this shit, and they are tired of watching Democrats sit on their hands and say, you know what? We're just going to let it blow over, and at the end of the day, people are going to see how crazy the Republicans are, and then they're going to vote against him. A, you don't know that that's true, because just recently Donald Trump was elected to be the president of the United States of America. And B, that shouldn't be your fucking plan in the first place. We shouldn't be sitting here waiting for Democrats to let the Republicans abuse the shit out of the citizenry to make poor decision after poor decision that continues to put us in bad places over and over again for 4 fucking years, so that way, hopefully, we can get back in a feckless Democratic government that'll just kind of like sit on their hands and be like, well, there's a lot of levers when it comes to government. You gotta really work hard to get things done. Oh, tell that to Donald Trump. Tell Donald Trump how bipartisan he needs to be. Tell Donald Trump how the machinations of Congress, how they affect the president and how things are done. Because he's going to be pretty fucking surprised. Because I don't think Donald Trump thinks that there is anybody else in this government. And I don't think even if you showed him that there were other people in this government, that he'd care one little fucking bit. That's actually really disappointing to see Mark Kelly just let himself get talked to like that.
And confronts Leader Hakeem Jeffries over the exact point that he just tried to make to them. He says, listen, I have something written up that will give you guys the ACA extensions you're asking for. That's what he says. In order to try, and you know what's really funny? In that, he's conceding that Democrats don't actually want health care for people who are illegal. That's what they're claiming, the Republicans. Mm-hmm. He basically concedes that they just want a health care extension. He's conceding in that. Let's watch him try this on Leader Jeffries.
On your extension, why don't we sign on right now?
Let me ask you a question. Did you get permission from your boss?
Why don't we sign on right now?
Did your boss, Donald
Trump?
Did your boss?
He said, did you get... There you go, Hakeem. Hakeem, are you coming back, brother? Don't give me hope, man. Because I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be a lot worse if you come out like this and you act like this and then you buckle. If you buckle after coming out like this, I'm going to be pretty sad. It's going to be worse. Let's get that one more time. Did you get permission from your boy Donald Trump to be here? Has Hakeem Jeffries been watching IHIP? Have the IHIP ladies gotten to Hakeem Jeffries, guys? One more time. I want to hear that one more time.
Let's watch him try this on Leader Jeffries.
On your extension, why don't we sign on right now?
Let me ask you a question. Did you get permission from your boss?
Why don't we sign on right now?
Did your boss, Donald Trump?
You can easily extend the ACA
Did your boss, Donald Trump, give you permission? Yes, he is.
No, he's not. And by the way, why did you vote to shut the government down? Why did you vote to shut it down?
Let me ask you a question.
For years, you always lectured about how we need to keep the government open.
I want you to take a look at that one black man in this crowd. Although, actually, this white dude with the pink tie also looks pretty excited. The black dude in the back and the white dude with the tie are looking at this shit going on right now going, yeah, that's what I'm fucking talking about, dog.
Let me ask you a question.
For years, you always lectured about how we need to keep the government open.
You're making a show of this to make yourself relevant.
It's sad. You could easily sign on to this.
You're embarrassing yourself right now.
You could sign on to this.
You're chasing clout. You're an embarrassment.
You could sign on to the bill.
Let me ask you a question.
You have 4 Democrats on here.
Let me ask you a question.
It's a clean extension for 1 year.
You voted for the one big ugly bill, correct?
I voted for a tax cut bill that gave the largest tax cut to Americans in history, including, by the way, the average New Yorker getting a $4,000 tax cut. Are you against that?
You're embarrassing yourself right now.
You want to cut the standard deduction in
half? The largest cut to Medicaid in American history. You voted for that.
Fraud and abuse, by the way.
You voted
Tom DiNapoli, the Democratic controller of New York.
Let me ask you a question.
Pointed out that $1.2 billion were wasted.
Listen, you're not going to talk to me.
There you go.
You're not going to talk to me.
Let me show you something. Let me show you some body language shit. Let me show you body language. Take a look at what just happened. Just look at that one little step forward. Just that one step forward. You know what that means? When a person takes that one step forward, that's keep fucking talking, dog. That's keep saying something. Keep talking, man. And you're going to find out. That's what that body language means. Good job, Hakeem Jeffries. That is what we need. That is what we want from this person. That's what we want from all these people. Don't let that man talk to you like that. Don't let him speak in your face and talk over you. Take that step forward. Get your grill in his grill. And let this motherfucker know that you ain't his bitch. That is what we need.
The Democratic controller of New York.
Let me ask you a question.
Pointed out that $1.2 billion were wasted.
Listen, you're not going to talk.
There it is, right there.
You're not going to talk to me.
Step closer.
Over me because you don't want to hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm listening.
So why don't you just keep your mouth shut?
Oh,
because you showed up. You showed up.
Yeah.
And so you voted for this one big ugly bill.
You can extend it right now.
A permanent extension of massive tax breaks.
Yep.
For your billionaire donors.
So 90% of Americans.
So they can get a permanent.
There you
So
go.
there's a moment there where Leader Jeffries goes, you can shut your mouth. It's a forceful
Notice
moment.
he
It's
shut
good.
down.
Someone in the, I don't know who it says it, someone off camera, I believe, goes, is that the way you're supposed to speak? Are you joking right now? You're not okay with the minority leader of the House using firm language at somebody who keeps cutting him off, but the president of the United States can, I don't know, threaten to invade Chicago, threaten to arrest governors like Pritzker just today, threaten to go after people over and over, political opponents like Comey and Bolton. Yeah, I'm sorry, but Leader Hakeem Jeffries can say what he wants at this point. We're going to leave it there. If you appreciate this, drop a like, subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to Adam Mockler. That's my dude right there. He did it. You give credit where credit is due. He did it. Like, that doesn't mean that the dude's never going to make another mistake. It doesn't mean Hakeem Jeffries has all of a sudden woken up and became the strongest man in the Democratic Party, and he's going to, you know, from this point on be the leader that we hoped he was. Human beings are flawed. We're imperfect. And I hope that this is a moment that he can build off of. I hope that he can take this somewhere. Because that's the energy right there. That's the energy that you need. Those 2 steps forward to get close to that dude, get in his face, and not let him talk you down to talk over you. Like, that has to happen. That is what Democrats need to see from the people that represent them. You cannot put this on the voters and just always say, like, oh, voters have to get out and protest, and voters have to call, and voters have to do this. You have been voted in, and you need to speak with your chest. You need to speak with confidence, and you need to speak with strength. And when this man comes to you, talking to you like that man came to Hakeem Jeffries, talking to him like he talked to Mark Kelly, that means he does not respect you, and you have one job. And that job is to make that motherfucker respect you. That's it. I like that energy. I like that. Speaking of, since we're talking about fucking Lil Magic Mike. Let's talk about it. Let's keep it up. Let's keep going that route. What's happening, Jeremy? Since we're talking about Magic Mike Johnson. Since we're talking about Magic Mike Johnson, let's go ahead and talk about the alleged Grindr message. And I'm glad this is Jair, because there's a couple people I still like on TYT. I don't know if you guys have seen TYT recently, but there's a video out by the Vanguard right now making fun of Jank for his big announcement, because Jank's trying to play the centrist now, and he got clowned. He continues to get, Jank just continues to get clowned over and over and over again. I really wish dude would bring it back. I really wish, you know, this Jank of old that I've never seen, by the way, because I came into this later than everybody else. But people have told me that there was a mythical beast of old named Cenk Uygur that used to debate Republicans and just used to absolutely shit on them. And I've never seen that jank because unfortunately he don't exist now. But there's a Vanguard video about his recent big announcement. And it's some sad shit. It looks like Anna Kasparian is getting stolen from jank by PBD over there. It's sad to watch, dog. It's sad to watch. Speaking of fucking people that are allegedly on the left that want to, you know, to talk and be somebody, like, find that fire, jank. Get your shit together. Get a backbone, dog. You want to be a part of this. This ain't no time for people to be playing the games that Jank's playing. Anyways, I'm saying that because I like Jair Jackson. I like what he does, so I'm glad this video is Jair. Let's watch it.
Let me remind you guys what we last talked about with Razzle Dazzle. I'm not going to play his whole video. He had a couple long ones, but he was afraid. His videos about how he's going to expose Mike Johnson.
I had provided this information to my legal team, and it was then provided to a trusted media outlet.
Okay, first of all, do you guys think this is real? Later, Bucket. Appreciate you, Bucket. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this is real? Because, like I've said before, you know, Grifton ain't just on the right. You know, do you guys think this guy is a real dude that really has information, or do you think this is bullshit? Because we've been hurt before.
I no longer have this information in my possession. I know this is not what you were hoping to hear today, but rest assured this information will be out. I haven't stopped shaking in 3 days.
Razzle Dazzle Mo was shaken after he had those declarations and threats.
I'm not going to lie. I thought when he said Razzle Dazzle, I thought he was talking about Magic Mike. My bad.
To go ahead and expose Mike Johnson. As I went to the weekend, I was
it's real. That's what you guys saying? Okay, all right.
This particular streamers and podcasters page, Reese Waters. I'm sure many of you guys know.
Yeah,
he seems to have
Reese.
a pretty popular page. I'd seen him before, but I'd forgotten his name. And I went through his discussion about this. And he had a couple of instances of more things that I hadn't seen before. One of those folks that Reese Waters, by the way, you guys check out his whole thing. He talked extensively about it. I went to a guy's page that he referenced real quick. And I said, wait a second, I saw a TikTok handle there. Let me go find who CJ Baker Fitness is. And this is one of the things I found on this page.
Wait. We gotta go back. You're going too fast. Hold on.
Things I found on this page.
Okay. What does it say? What you have? Thank you. I would return the favor and giving you a compliment, but I don't know what you look like. Are you in town for a couple of days visiting DC? Yes, I am. Are you offering me a tour? I can give you one. I have a few contacts. We can go to Dabney for dinner and then back to my place, and I can blow your brains out while pulling on that luxurious hair. Oh, straightforward, I see. Especially from a man who won't show his face. Very discreet here, man, with a few kids. Not married with a few kids, not trying to mess up my situation. Oh, dog! If this is real, I'm gonna lose my shit. Oh, man.
I'm gonna go ahead and freeze it on one of these frames.
Oh, okay, easy. I should let him do it.
What it is that CJ Baker Fitness posted that I don't know if it's somehow related to Razzle Dazzle, but it's definitely
later, Paul. Appreciate you, Paul.
It's worth considering. Let's put it that way. This is the alleged account back and forth from what it is that Mike Johnson, they said, was saying to some unknown person on Grindr as far as a potential meetup. It says, what luxurious hair you have. Of course, Mike Johnson is the
I kind of want to hear him say it now.
And he says, and the respondent says, thank you. I would return the favor in giving you a compliment, but I don't know what you look like. And then he says, are you in town for a couple of days visiting DC? He said, yes, I am. Are you offering me a tour? To which allegedly Mike Johnson says, I can give you one.
Than me.
Here's where it gets, pretty salacious. I have a few contacts. We can go to the Dabney for dinner, and then back to my place, and I can blow your brains out while pulling on that luxurious hair. Jesus. Responds back to, oh, straightforward, I see, LOL, especially from a man who won't show his face. He says, very discreet man with a few kids, not trying to mess up my situation. And then to which, as I just moved to this next slide, again, posted by this back and forth, as you heard with that music behind it, what time should I pick you up from your hotel with Mike Johnson's face there, looking that you probably don't want to look at. Again,
Nah.
I saw this from another third party, but then I went directly to his page to see where that came from. Let's hear from CJ Baker Fitness himself, because he said he got calls and maybe in some point some threats. But let's start with this one explanation that he had for what it is, the information that he had.
So PolitiFact messaged me inquiring about the Mike Johnson Grindr conversation. And they wanted to verify that this was a true story. And they asked to speak directly to the person who was making these claims. And so I messaged the person and I said, PolitiFact wants to message you. Do you want to talk to them? Well, he said no. Obviously, he wants to remain anonymous. The only reason why he shared it with me is because he's been following me and he trusts me. So I told them that he said he's not willing to do that. And PolitiFact went through with the story and claimed that there's no truth to it and it's a false story because the picture that he shared was from March 5th, 2025. And so then I reached back out to the person and I said, hey, they're saying that this picture was from March 5th, 2025. What gives? And he responded and said, no. This picture was from 2023. And he sent me an uncropped version of the conversation with the date. And it checks out. That picture was sent in 2023.
Oh,
so
shit.
He was having this conversation on Grindr with Mike Johnson, allegedly, in 2023, which was before Mike Johnson became Speaker of the House. This is another argument that PolitiFact is making, that why would the Speaker of the House be sharing his picture and be meeting at a public place and blah, blah, blah. This was before.
Wait, but also, I love that, PolitiFact's trying to, figure this out. Bro, this is how dumb this timeline is. They're trying to, PolitiFact, instead of, trying to figure out whether or not, certain, political things are true, they're trying to figure out whether or not the rumors of Mike Johnson being super duper gay are true. That's how dumb this timeline has gotten. But, what do you mean? How many times have we seen this? How many times have we seen Republicans get outed for doing gay shit on apps? There was that dude that was what was he? Is for counsel or something like that, and he used his fucking profile with his name and shit, and they actually linked it to the dude, and he had to fucking step down because of it. What do you mean? Oh, he wouldn't want to be seen out in public. You think these people are fucking 007? Does Mike Johnson strike you as some kind of fucking Secret Service fucking agent? No. These dudes are hard up. They haven't gotten any because they be behind closed doors, shitting on LGBT people, trying to keep their Republican conservative base, which are also all probably in the closet, happy because he's hating on the same people because they hate themselves. He can't get out there and do it, but he hasn't gotten any good dick. Allegedly. What do you mean? These people get caught all the time doing shit in public that you're like, dude, that was not smooth.
Before he was Speaker of the House.
I don't know, bro. So now we're left trusting CJ
Baker Fitness,
who apparently is bringing further receipts than even that we saw not much from Razzle Dazzle Mo there. But even a PolitiFact check asked all these questions and didn't maybe get all the information that they needed to confirm it, so they went to denying it. Maybe he should have given them that extra level of evidence with the date at the top being from 2023, which also goes to, which was my first question. Why would Mike Johnson put his face in front of a photo and send it over Grindr when he's the Speaker of the House and we know all of his stances? But before, how many of you guys heard of Mike Johnson before he became Speaker of the House?
Nobody. Only people in Louisiana.
But allegedly all this is happening. And here's more from CJ Baker.
I just received a call from the FBI that I need to take down the Mike Johnson.
Bro, I'm getting a fucking call from the FBI soon. Allegedly. Oh, what a weird fucking timeline this is, man. Can you imagine getting a phone call from the fucking FBI and they're like, "Hey, we have information that you said Mike Johnson allegedly was trying to get some good dick. We're gonna need you to take down that video, my dude."
And photo. I guess it's making Mike not feel good, and I guess he's having a really bad day. But I was sent that by someone on Instagram. Ow, my neck.
Oh, he's down.
And he said that it's true, and he said that this is something that had taken place in DC, and that if I wouldn't mind sharing it, he would really appreciate that. And so that's what happened. And but unfortunately, I probably should delete it because I don't want Mike to have a bad day.
FBI contacts. Again, this is all coming from his own personal account where he's talking about all these things, but it does go further back than any of this discussion happening just now. That makes this a lot more intriguing. The last thing that makes this intriguing is I'm sure you guys have heard of this guy. His name is Tizzy Int.
Oh, yeah.
I see him all over the place all the time. The guy with the long beard who always ends up getting the internet to help him find folks that do nefarious, crazy, and a lot of times racist and bigoted and misogynistic online. Tizzy Int jumped on this story as well, too, and he had a bit of an explanation as to what happened to him and his stories on TikTok.
So a user here on TikTok named Razzle Dazzlemo made a video about having information about that guy that he was going to release if that guy didn't swear in the new duly elected official who could be the deciding signature to release the Epstein files. And then that video got taken down. His video and anyone who duetted it, including myself, and I got a strike for it. And then he made an update video explaining that he turned the video over to some journalists to vet the information and go through it properly and release it as such, and that he no longer had the stuff in his possession, and that it had been given to several other people, and in the event that anything happened to him, because he had no intentions of harming himself, that would be released, but he's getting just slammed with death threats and hate. So, that video came out. I duetted that video. Today, that video got a community guideline violation, got removed. When I appealed it, appeal denied. TikTok really doesn't want to talk about this. Why would that be? What has happened recently?
Yeah, what happened recently? Who owns TikTok now? I was just talking about this today. I was reading this article talking about how all the major media companies are now owned by ultra wealthy people, right? Or at least like a really high percentage. Yeah. If you think Larry Ellison, who's owns Skydance and is the richest man in the world right now, just above Elon Musk, if you think Elon Musk, if you think Rupert Murdoch, any of these people are good people to be in charge of all the media in this country, like I said before, I got a bridge to sell you because you are a moron. I don't think we have to mince words there. I think if you think, I think they bought TikTok for what, like 14 billion or something like that, well below what it's worth. If you think that there wasn't some type of quid pro quo between the United States government, aka Donald Trump, and the people who bought TikTok, Silver Lake, Andreessen's company, and I believe, what is it, not Jared Kushner, that was EA. EA recently bought by Jared Kushner and some Saudi Arabians. Everything's getting bought up by these people, and it's going to be controlled by these people. Yeah. I wonder why TikTok wouldn't want this type of information to be released. Remember, every accusation is a confession from these people. And every one of these people, before we got to this point, we're talking about how the government suppressed information, how Biden, the Twitter files. And yet you have not heard a peep from these people about the fact that Donald Trump owns True Social. You haven't heard a peep about Elon Musk and his suppression of left-wing talking points, or the fact that he's literally changed his AI robot to be Mecha Hitler. You don't hear anything about all these ultra billionaires buying up these media companies because they're a bunch of hypocrites, allegedly.
Recently in the news about a purchase and version of America. And so, yeah, that video is still up on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, etc.
So apparently, according to there was other folks, again, Reese Waters pointed out other folks that had posted about this and were immediately taken down, community guidelined, and censored over on TikTok. Apparently only over on TikTok for just talking about it. It's just, if if the idea is to try and get this to go away, this is not one of those ways to get it to go away. It's all alleged. It's all the things that, again, our original guy, Razzle Dazzle, said eventually is going to come out based off of these other media folks that he's given it to. And now from years ago, someone else has more receipts if you buy what it is that they're saying or the validity of the things that they've shown. I just wanted to give you guys that update.
I like his, I'm just giving you guys the information. And we'll find out, huh? We'll see if these videos get taken down. We'll see if I get another strike. The last strike I got was sharing the video of Elon Musk getting his toe sucked by Donald Trump, which I actually understand why that video shouldn't be on the internet. So I understand YouTube. That was a good call on your guys' part. That kind of thing shouldn't be on the internet. Let's see. 5 Alarm Fire. Oh, you texted me a video of a pastor with the AR-15 talking about what Jesus should have done to spread. Yeah, I've seen that. I saw the article for it. I didn't watch the video, but yeah, I did see an article for it. But no, I haven't looked at the actual video. I don't get a lot of time outside of when I'm on stream to do these things. This is like literally my time to watch these kind of things. I appreciate you guys for all sharing all the stuff you do, and please continue to do so. But yeah, I don't get a lot of time out. My job takes up the majority of my life, and then my children and stuff. So a lot of times I'm watching stuff when we get on here with you guys. So I will check it out as soon as I get a chance. So with all that being said, you've got the Mike Johnsons of the world that are obviously very angry with themselves and who they are as a person and wish they could just be them, and they just can't because obviously it's hard for them to be themselves because they're in a party full of people that don't want them to be themselves. But there's other people, lots of other people. And actually here, let's talk about this. Because 5 Alarm brought up the other pastor, let's talk about this story. This story here. Unconscionable. MAGA pastor calls for executing rebellious black youth, citing death by stoning in Old Testament. And I want you guys to remember, once again, so you're going to hear here in the next little bit, you're going to hear people pushing back against Hakeem Jeffries telling the dipshit Lawler to shut his mouth, right? You're going to hear pushback from the right saying, oh, the tolerant left. Oh, what happened to the tolerant left? And then they're going to completely gloss over the fact that things like this exist. They're going to continue to act like they don't do any of these things, even though they are the originators of this behavior. And at no point should you ever become self-critical because of these people, because these people are human garbage. A Utah pastor known for her heretical viewpoints has called for executing rebellious young black men under Old Testament law, then invoked a passage describing death by stoning, a statement that underscored the growing overlap between the MAGA movement and extremist forms of Christian nationalism. Project 2025, anybody? It's not like we literally made videos about this stuff. I probably have 10 videos on my fucking stream or on my channel talking about Project 2025. I'm pretty sure the trailer is still Project 2025. During a recent episode of the King's Hall, podcaster Pastor Brian Suave argued that the United States government should enforce what he called just laws from the Bible, including those found in Deuteronomy 21. The passage instructs parents to bring a disobedient son before town elders to be stoned to death for being a glutton and a drunkard. Where does this take us? I wonder where this takes us. Oh, just to another story. Okay. When we make this generalization, one of the purposes of it is for policymakers to make the kind of political movements in terms of law and order that would usher in the change over time of that culture, Suave said. So, okay. Suggesting that applying biblical justice could reshape society. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
The actual number of blacks who are committing murder is more than whites. Right. And whites are significantly greater.
60% compared to 13%
percentage of the population. Yeah.
So if you take that, and then you took a law like Deuteronomy 21, which is a just law that God enacted.
Can I just say, look at how fucking weird these two dudes are? Look at these two dudes.
Just take
Jesus
and whites are significant.
Christ.
If you take that, and then
can we just say that just these two people, like, you would not leave your children with either one of these men. You wouldn't leave your sister with either one of these men. Both of these dudes are the weirdest looking, grossest looking human beings I have ever seen in my life. And I watch MAGA videos all day long. Look at this weird motherfucker. You would not leave your grandmother with this dude. This dude gives Ed Gein vibes, okay? This guy right here will take your grandmother and wear her dress and her face on his face while he dances around sweeping the floor. All right, this is some Ed Gaines energy right here. This gives serial killer. I'm telling you that, allegedly.
And whites are significantly greater.
60% compared to 13%
percentage of the population. Yeah.
So if you take that, and then you took a law like Deuteronomy 21, which is a just law that God enacted through Moses. The law was that if you had a rebellious son, you have a child they're coming up into their manhood, and they're rebellious. They don't listen. He lists some characteristics, and they won't. Even though they're disciplined, they will not turn. He says the fathers to bring them out into the.
Bro, what is that Hitler ass haircut too? Why is the side of your hair feathered? Brother, you feathered the wrong side of your head. Why does your hair look like that, bro? Why? Motherfucker, like, no one goes to a barber. Not that I'm an expert on hair. No one goes to a barber and says, give me that shit where I fucking swoop my side hair to the forward of my head. Nobody gets that. There is not a human being alive that wants to cut your hair like that. There is no way that anybody cut that. It had to have been his sister wife. It had to have been dude's cousin, right?
The town square. This is a rebellious son, and then they stone him to death. They kill him.
And an armed robber would certainly be one of those.
Oh, absolutely. Armed robber, all the ghetto culture.
Violent crimes.
Basically, take ghetto culture. It would describe this to a T.
He said ghetto culture. Brother, I can't say certain things on YouTube, but I do hope that one day you find yourself in a ghetto and that people have seen this video. That's all I'm going to say.
If you did that over 3 generations, how much violent crime would you have in the 3rd and 4th generation? Much, much less.
The actual number.
Actually, literally, capital punishment numbers prove exactly the opposite of that. So, impressed by co-host and fellow Christian nationalist preacher Eric Kahn on what kinds of behavior would qualify, Suave linked a verse to modern crime, saying armed robbery, all the ghetto culture, just like what he just said, right? He added that enforcing such laws over generations would sharply reduce violent crime, which does not even bear out in statistics, regardless of how fucking insane it sounds that these people are absolute disgusting human beings. But also, yeah, it doesn't even bear out statistically. Oh, thank you for joining the Ginger Army. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Funkhauser, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Let's see. Suave, first of all, I don't want to call this fucking guy Suave. What should we call him? Dipshit with a bad haircut. Dipshit with a bad haircut and Khan both preach at Refuge Church in Utah and promote a brand of Christian nationalism that seeks to align civil government with biblical authority. Dipshit with a bad haircut believes reflect an extreme form of Christian nationalism that seeks to merge biblical law with the functions of a modern society. He argues that the moral and social order of the United States should be governed by what he calls just laws from the Old Testament, even those prescribing death as punishment. In his view, societal problems such as violent crime and what he calls ghetto culture stem from a breakdown of family and moral discipline that should be corrected through laws rooted in Scripture, like those in Deuteronomy. Like, I could just fucking talk about this forever, and you guys know I can. Of course they're from Utah. Yeah, of course they're from Utah, he hurts. Of course they are. But the reality, being a person that grew up impoverished, as poor as you possibly can in America, the reason people commit crimes in poor areas is because of lack of resources. When you live in a ghetto, the reasons you are more likely to commit crimes is because you are surrounded by nothing but negativity. You are surrounded by nothing but bad outcomes. You don't have any incentivization to get out of these cultures. When you grow up in these areas, there are no jobs that you can get within the distance that you can get to. There's no stores to work at. There are no, there's no Target, there's no Walmart, there's no fast food. Everything is on the outskirts of these places, and these people can't get jobs. You're also constantly kept in this cycle of imprisonment because police officers are constantly going down into these areas and finding reasons to arrest young men. Once you've been arrested once or twice, you don't really give a shit about whether or not you get arrested again and again and again. I can tell you this. I know this for a fact. You cannot punish these behaviors out of people. If you could punish behaviors out of people with the death penalty, that would have already happened. We all know about the death penalty. We all know about prison sentences for violent crimes. Yet people still commit them. Part of that reason is because of mental health. So investing in mental health resources is huge. Part of that reason is because lack of job opportunities and upward movement. And we could help to do something about that by having socialized safety nets like counselors coming into neighborhoods and talking to people, or specifically when these kids are in school, taking advantage of that and getting impoverished kids, lower class kids, help through the schools to find ways to get into better environments. You don't punish these behaviors out of people in the methods that these people are talking about. They are completely ineffective, and they have led to nothing of any actual substance. Zero. Nada. Zilch. By invoking this passage to justify executing rebellious men, dipshit with a bad haircut is promoting a theocratic vision where civil authorities enforce biblical codes as criminal statutes, a hallmark of the more militant strain of Christian nationalism that frames law enforcement and social control as divine mandates. Try to divine mandate that shit on me, dog. That's all I got to say. On his website, dipshit with a bad haircut promotes what he calls the new Christendom, a revivalist vision of society governed by biblical authority and patriarchal order. He describes himself as Reformed and Protestant, Paedo-Baptist. Yeah, Paedo. Definitely Paedo. He's definitely Paedo. That's for sure. I guarantee that shit. Post-millennial and patriarchal, proudly noting that these beliefs tend to bother the good people of Twitter.com. Through his sermons, podcasts, and music, dipshit with a bad haircut says he aims to help build this new Christendom, a movement that seeks to reassert Christian control over culture, law, and public life in defiance of modern secularism. Dipshit with a bad haircut's remarks spark criticism online. One person said, these psychos are going to encourage people to take the life of their own children. If you are a Christian or a law-abiding citizen or a sane person, the thought of executing anyone for robbery is unconscionable. Anyone who follows these people and claims to be pro-life is a psychotic liar too. Also, another person said, he who has no sin casts the first stone. True Christians cannot honestly advocate stoning. The rebellious son, Christ preached forgiveness and redemption of the prodigal son. Dipshit with a bad haircut is not preaching Christian redemption. He is advocating brutal Old Testament theology. And another person just said, classic racism, the worst examples are taken as characteristic of black culture, but not of white. There's not a lot to say to that. It's just dumb. The people that believe this shit are dumb, and the people that follow these people are dumb. And you know what?
Oh, look at my African American over here. Look at him.
Both of those worked.
I love the poorly educated.
That's how we got here. And look, back behind me right here, Joe Moore's book. Joe Moore's book talking about white supremacy. Joe Moore's book of infiltrating the Ku Klux Klan for the FBI and exposing a plot to assassinate Barack Obama in 2009. He says in that book, if you don't think that the KKK still exists, that it's not out there just waiting for its chance, if not trying to accelerate its chance to get in its claws into the government in the hopes that there's another civil war in which it can go ahead and take like just a small part of this country and make it theirs, then your eyes are not open. And that the same thing goes for people that believe that this white Christian nationalism doesn't exist. Anybody that doesn't believe that it exists, but there are 100% very easy and verifiable resources to find these people, their eyes are closed and they're morons. And Donald Trump loves you. Donald Trump loves you because you are poorly educated and you are a moron. So let's see. Speaking of people that are terrible human beings, let's go ahead and let's watch, or actually let's talk about this, because this is a good one. I like this one. Okay, so for any of you guys out there that don't know, Jane Goodall passed away. I'm sure all of you guys know that. Jane Goodall, amazing human being, wonderful person, an actual contributor to society. Rest in peace, Jane Goodall. As I said before, if I don't see you posting good things about Jane Goodall on Twitter or Facebook or anything else, I'm going to call your employer and get you fired. That's how I roll. Okay? So, Jane Goodall, in her last words to the world, shares wish to launch Donald Trump and Elon Musk on one-way trip into space. We lost a good one. Dr. Jane Goodall was no fan of Donald Trump or Elon Musk. That should not come as a surprise. In fact, she dreamed of a day when they got a one-way ticket off the planet. And we do too. I've said this before. I think that Jane Goodall and myself, we could have had a great conversation about the possibility of getting humans to Mars. I think Jane Goodall would have agreed with my plan to get Elon Musk, Roseanne Barr, Donald Trump Jr., whoever wants to go. Get a Mark Andreessen, Peter Thiel. There's so many names. We're going to probably have to shoot a couple rockets off. Maybe it could be like at the end of, was it Don't Look Up? Remember at the end of Don't Look Up when all the people escape from Earth and the rockets and land on the other planet and then they're eaten by dinosaurs? That might be a spoiler for you. Sorry. If that was a spoiler, that's your fault, not mine. I think Jane Goodall could appreciate my plan to get all of these people onto rocket ships and have themselves launched to Mars. Guys, we should start a GoFundMe. That's where we should be. The world-renowned conservationist and activist who died on October 1st made the comments in the new Netflix docuseries Famous Last Words, which features interviews with cultural icons that will only be released after their deaths. That's kind of morbid, but also at the same time, you know, this is capitalism. Fuck yeah, capitalism. I mean, it's a good thing. But, I mean, I wish we would have had a Christopher Hitchens one or a George Carlin one. Okay, now I'm getting sucked in. At what point does Netflix start taking people out? That's a serious question. At what point is Netflix like, we haven't been able to release any episodes in the past, 3 years. We got to take somebody out. I'm just saying. Do you guys think they have one on Trump? Just saying. Speaking with Glee co-creator Brad Falchuk, Goodall revealed that there are several people that she absolutely did not like in life and wish she could send them all up in one of Musk's spaceships and send them all off to the planet he's sure he's going to discover. Wow, this is actually brilliant. Holy shit. Checkmate, cancel culture. Checkmate. You can't send death threats to Goodall if she's already dead. Holy shit, this is brilliant. I'm going to have to make my own videos. God, I'm going to say so much fucked up shit. I am going to record a video and leave it for my wife of me just saying the most fucked up things I can about these people. God, this is brilliant. Okay, anyways. You guys always recognize that I don't read these articles before I get on stream, right? I'm always doing it with you guys because I want to do it with you guys. Must54 was among that group. He'd be the host, Goodall quipped, and you can imagine who I'd put on that spaceship. Goodall then listed off a number of individuals, including the president and some of Trump's real supporters, Russian President Vladimir Putin, Chinese President Xi Jinping, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, as well as his far-right government. Put them all on that spaceship and send them off, she continued. I didn't think that I could like Jane Goodall more. This is like that meme. Fucking, okay, stop. I can only get so erect. Which is weird to say about an old lady that died. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Okay? Wow. Jane. Good job. God, can you just imagine? She's like taping this and going like, I can say whatever the fuck I want. I can say whatever I want. Goodall was then given the opportunity to speak directly to the camera without Falchuk present. Then she shared her final message to the world, reminding others that everyone has a role to play in life according to Tadam. You may not know it, you may not find it, but your life matters. And you are here for a reason, Goodall explained. I just hope that reason will become apparent as you live through your life. I want you to know that whether or not you find that role that you're supposed to play, your life does matter. And that every single day you live, you make a difference in this world. And you get to choose the difference that you make. Goodall promised that there is still hope, despite how dark things may seem on the planet. Don't lose hope, she pressed. If you lose hope, you become apathetic and do nothing. She continued, if you want to save what is still beautiful in this world, then think about the actions you take each day. Because multiplied a million, a billion times, even small actions will make for great change. Promising that life on Earth isn't the end, Goodall suggested that leading a good life on the planet will make some difference in the kind of life you find after you die. Above all, I want you to think about the fact that we are when we're on the planet Earth, we are part of Mother Nature, she explained. We depend on Mother Nature for clean air, for water, for food, for clothing, for everything. And as we destroy one ecosystem after another, as we create worse climate change, worse loss of diversity, we have to do everything in our power to make the world a better place for the children alive today and for those that will follow. Goodall concluded, you have it in your power to make a difference. Don't give up. There is a future for you. Do your best while you're still on this beautiful planet Earth that I look down upon from where I am now. God bless you all. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. And she echoes something that I've said on here a lot in the recent past, in that Donald Trump wants you tired. Donald Trump wants you apathetic. Donald Trump wants you exhausted, and Donald Trump wants you to give up. And it's not just Donald Trump. Donald Trump is on death's door himself. It's not just Donald Trump that wants that. It's the rest of these billionaire tech oligarchs that want this. In fact, they're the ones that want it the most. They want you to give up. They want you to take whatever scraps you're given. They want you to stop trying to fight. And they want you to just lay there and take it. They're just like rapists. They just want you to lay there and just take it. And you don't have to. There's still so much left. And when you give in, you become like, these young men that we've talked about that have, been these shooters in schools, these shooters in assassinations. These young men that have been convinced that there's nothing left that's worth fighting for on this earth. That instead, you should go down these right-wing rabbit holes and find a way to die in a way that means something. Nihilism is an issue in this culture today, and it is an issue on purpose. It's manufactured. They want you to not care. And Jane Goodall, of all people, cared enough for all of us. But you don't get to use her to opt out of doing your part, right? Like you have to do your part. And she's right. And that's why we do what we do. We continue doing it. Okay. Goodall spent some of her final days speaking about combating climate change at New York Climate Week 2025, which was held from September 21st through 28th, which just adds the lie to these people that are like, these people are trying to control you through climate change, that they don't believe in climate change. It's just all a way to grift off you. She's literally dying, and she's literally still talking about it because she knows that it's real. Fuck Joe Rogan, man. Like, why is Joe Rogan the person everybody listens to when Jane Goodall is the person we should be listening to? And you want to know something fucking crazy? Is Joe Rogan would agree with that. Appearing at Forbes Sustainability Leadership Summit that same week, Goodall encouraged others to have courage when combating climate change while acknowledging that caring for humans and the environment simultaneously has proven to be a tough problem. She's a very smart lady. Shortly before her 91st birthday in April, Goodall appeared on the Call Her Daddy podcast and told host Alex Cooper that despite being tired, her mission to affect positive change in the world keeps me going. There's so much to do, Goodall explained. If we lose hope, we're doomed. Because if you lose hope, you become apathetic and you do nothing. And that is what I was just saying about the real, true problem with crime in our country. It's poverty. It's apathy. It's nihilism. It's the loss of hope. That's the real problem in the society right now. There's a lot to be talked about how you take care of the environment and talk about how you also take care of human beings and make sure that we continue to progress and do good things. And, you know, one of the other things that I think is important to talk about, especially in this country, is the loss of balance, the loss of the ability to know when it's good to fight, when it's good to be strong, when it's good to stand up and not back down, and when it's okay to concede, and when it's appropriate to be a more emotionally intelligent person and to recognize where people need help. And we don't have that anymore. And I've said this a lot to people in my real life and people on stream. I'm the same person, whether I'm on here or I'm in the real world. I'm always talking to people, and I preach balance. And people will say, well, how is it balanced when you're saying you can't use soft language with MAGA Republicans, that you have to meet them on their level and do to them what they've done to you? How does that lead to balance? And that is that when things are out of balance, sometimes it takes extreme measures to get them back into balance. And right now I feel like this country is so far out of balance, so far completely down the wrong path, that you're not going to get this country back into balance by begging and pleading with a bunch of insane people to just stop. It doesn't work with abusers. It doesn't work with people that are mentally ill. It doesn't work with addicts. Begging for them to stop only gives them more power. And that's why, like I said, when we saw what Hakeem Jeffries said, shut your mouth, that's bringing back balance. Because the Democrats need to stand up to MAGA Republicans and say to them, you have drugged this so far down the right path, the alt-right path, the nationalist Christian path, that there's no way that we're getting this back even to the middle unless we grab on it and we pull with all our might and bodily drag this shit back to where it should be. Rest in peace, Jane Goodall. All right, let's see. Okay, let's talk about this one. Here's another one. Talking about good people. So we're talking about good people. This is the Pope. I'm not a religious person. I'm a secular humanist. I believe that, that if there is a God, it's never been proven to me. I am always open to hearing people's opinion on religion. I think religion is really interesting. But I think there's a lot of bad things that come from religion. And, one of the funniest things about all of this stuff going on right now is that MAGA literally rooted for this guy to be the Pope. That's how dumb these people are. They only know about the machine.
I love the poorly educated.
They only know about the machine. They never know about the cogs, man. They never know how the machine works. All they know is on the surface that this Pope is American, so he's a religious American, therefore he must be MAGA. That was their whole fucking, that's their whole thought process. That's as far as it goes. I say this all the time. MAGA can only see. They can only see what is right here. They can never see what's behind, what's on the other side of what's in front of their face. And it turns out that this Pope is woke. And MAGA immediately started melting down. In fact, MAGA said that they think this Pope will go to hell. That's what one lady in MAGA said, was that this Pope will go to hell. That's how insane they are. Oh, thank you for those euros. Thank you for the €5. It's probably worth more than dollars are, just so you guys know. I would actually prefer that you guys start giving me I would prefer that you guys start giving me money in other people's money, guys, because the dollar's not worth much. Thank you so much. And is that another one? I can't tell. Thank you. Haas? Somebody phonetically spell that name for me. I'm so out of my element right now. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here. I see that you are from Germany. Okay. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Thank you for watching daily podcast. I appreciate all you guys. I love you guys so much. Pope Leo has escalated his quiet but growing feud with the Trump administration, instructing U.S. bishops to take a stronger public stand against the president's hardline immigration policies, according to Reuters. Meeting a delegation of bishops and social workers from the U.S.-Mexico border at the Vatican on Wednesday, the first American-born pope urged them to speak strongly on behalf of immigrants and refugees affected by Trump's deportation drive. El Paso Bishop Mark Seitz, who attended the meeting, said Leo, who was born and raised in Chicago, was visibly moved after being handed dozens of letters from immigrants describing their fears of arrest and separation under the administration's enforcement policies. And this is actually a video of him being asked a question. How long is this? This is only a minute 55. So let's watch this. This is him being asked a question, and he talks about conservatives not being actually pro-life, not actually standing on business and believing the things that they say they do. And we already know that, right?
Father, can I ask a question in English? Just a quick one question in English. Thank you. Thank you for speaking with us. I just wanted to ask one thing that has become a bit of a divisive subject in the U.S. right now, with Cardinal Cupich giving an award to Senator Durbin. Some people of faith are having a hard time with understanding this because he is he's for legalized abortion. How would you help people of faith right now decipher that, feel about that, and how do you feel about that?
I'm not terribly familiar with the particular case. I think that it's very important to look at the overall work that a senator has done during, if I'm not mistaken, 40 years of service in the United States Senate. I understand the difficulty and the tensions, but I think, as I myself have spoken in the past, it's important to look at many issues that are related to what is the teaching of the church. Someone who says I'm against abortion but says I'm in favor of the death penalty is not really pro-life. So someone who says that I'm against abortion but I'm in agreement with the inhuman treatment of immigrants who are in the United States, I don't know if that's pro-life. So they're very complex issues. I don't know if anyone has all the truth on them, but I would ask first and foremost that there be greater respect for one another and that we search together both as human beings, in that case as American citizens or citizens of the state of Illinois, as well as Catholics, to say we need to, really look closely at all of these ethical issues and to find the way forward as church. The church teaching on each one of those issues is very clear. Thank you very much.
And I really like that because, like I said, I'm not religious. I'm not a Catholic. I'm not a Christian. But I have friends that I've spoken to that are, right? And in all of these conversations, almost every time, the person I'm talking to almost always says, "But why don't you want to be religious?" And I'm like, because I don't feel the need to have it in my life, because I don't need to think that there is a creator that is going to punish me for my bad behaviors. I treat people well. I treat people kindly. I treat people with respect, because when I go home at the end of the day, I have to live with myself. And if I look at the way I treat other people as being bad or negative or unhelpful, then it doesn't make me feel good. And morally speaking, my basis, my foundation for my morals doesn't come from religion. It comes from the idea that human beings have always lived with moral rules well before religion, going back to the hunter-gatherer days, if not further, where you understood that anything that you do to others can happen to you. Anything that is made normal or normalized can be done to the people that you love and the people that you want to see do well. And for most people, I think, that are normal human beings, I think most of us want that for even people that we don't know. Because to think about it from my point of view, why would I want somebody that I don't know to do poorly? What does that do for me? How does that benefit for me in my life? How does that make anything better? And hearing him talk with logic and critical thinking makes me look at what he's saying and say, it doesn't matter to me that me and him differ on our opinions as far as whether or not there is a creator. We agree on fundamental, foundational, moral questions. And that is important. And that's all that's necessary. And just like I said, in those same conversations with people that I know that are religious, I also find them to be good people that I enjoy, because they also have those same foundational, fundamental, moral questions and the answers that we share. So I really like that he did that. Let's see. Our Holy Father is very personally concerned about these matters, Seitz told Reuters. He expressed his desire that the U.S. Bishops' Conference would speak strongly on this issue. Leo's reported remarks mark the latest and most direct intervention by the pontiff in U.S. domestic politics since his election in May to replace the late Pope Francis, who was also a fucking stud. While initially cautious, the pontiff has recently sharpened his criticism of President Donald Trump's agenda, particularly on immigration and social policy. Just last week, Leo, who is 70, publicly questioned whether the Trump administration's anti-immigration measures were compatible with Catholic Church pro-life principles, which is obviously what we saw. A comment that triggered sharp backlash from conservative U.S. Catholics and the White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt, which we know she's a fake-ass Christian. She wears a cross. And just like most of these religious people that feel like they have to press it on other people, they're fake. They're fake. Because if you're really a good religious person and you really believe in the things that you believe, then you believe that your God is going to be the one that makes the difference in all this stuff, and that he will lead these people unto, good things. But when you want, what you really want is you want people kicked out of your country. You want people forced back into positions where maybe they're going to be human trafficked, where their children are going to be harmed, where their life is going to be worse. Then you're not a good Christian. Leavitt said she would reject there was inhumane treatment of illegal immigrants in the United States under this administration. However, Leo's latest move underscores a shift in tone from his early papacy, initially viewed as more restrained than Francis. Leo has increasingly positioned himself as a moral counterweight to Trump's hardline policies. One of the letters given to Leo on Wednesday, shared with Reuters, came from a family living in fear of deportation. I believe the Pope should speak out openly against the raids and the unfair treatment the community is experiencing, the note written in Spanish reads. The Pope also met privately Tuesday with about 100 American Catholics involved in migrant ministry, thanking them for their work. Leo has previously distanced himself from his older brother, Louis Prevost, MAGA views, and privately urged Vice President J.D. Vance to respect the dignity of all people wherever they're born. He also voiced his support for Gaza and Ukraine and called for an end to the kind of aggressive rhetoric favored by the Trump administration. A number of high-profile Trump administration officials are Catholic, including Leavitt, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who joined Vance for a sit-down with Leo soon after his inaugural mass in May, and border czar Tom Homan, who is one of the architects of Trump's deportation policy. White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson responded to the Pope's reported critique by saying President Trump was elected as the President of the United States based on the many promises he made to the American people, including his promise to deport criminal illegal aliens. He is keeping his promise to the American people. The Holy See press office was also contacted for the comment. And that's it. They don't care. And this is what I'm saying. That does not, like, these people don't care. Stop letting people like this make you feel bad and criticize your own behaviors when you call them out on their bullshit. Stop allowing all of these people that are morally bankrupt, corrupt human beings to say to you, oh, you like to use mean words? Oh, what happened to the tolerant left? Stop allowing these people to make you feel bad. You shouldn't. And in fact, it should make you feel like you want to double down on the things you are doing, because it's making them feel as though they need to defend themselves against these accusations. And that's important, because they should have to defend themselves against these accusations, which leads directly into the next thing that we're going to talk about. And I don't know how many of you guys have seen this. I try to always find stories for you guys that maybe you haven't seen yet, but you guys are so good at this. It's hard for me to ever find stuff that you guys hadn't seen. So let's read this story. And this is a little bit of a shorter one, of course, but it's the Trump administration closes criminal investigation into an evangelical university. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This right here is the epitome of what all of us think about when we're not religious people and we hear a story about the Catholic Church or about the people behind the Catholic Church. And I believe it was Francis, the former pope, that was actually pushing back really hard against all of the hiding of information about these pedophile priests, right? What we have right now in our administration is a president that is protecting very powerful people, if not protecting himself as well, from being prosecuted for crimes against children. I once shared a meme that showed Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein taking what is it, consecration or whatever? What is it called when they eat the piece of bread and drink the blood or whatever, the blood in the body, whatever that is. They're taking that, and it says, oh, great, now the Catholic Church is going to be associated with child trafficking. You know, the joke is obviously that we've all thought that already. And I was like, that's it. Like, we all know. It's in your face. You know it's happening, and yet very little is ever done about it. And this administration has decided that they're going to do more than nothing about it. They're going to proactively stop investigations into this university, and its potentially a potential of trafficking children. This is how insane this shit has gotten. This is how crazy MAGA has become. The Trump administration has closed a criminal investigation into Olivet University, declining to bring human trafficking charges against officials at the Christian institution in Southern California. The university's founder, evangelical pastor, and media executive David Zhang has been portrayed by some of his followers as the second coming of Jesus Christ, and is known for his founding roles in the creation of conservative, evangelical-friendly outlets like the Christian Post. And it was the Post last week that reported on a joint status report filed in the U.S. District Court that said the parties have recently been informed by an agent from Homeland Security Investigations that no charges are going to be filed against Olivet University or anyone else affiliated with Olivet University that arise out of or are related to the plaintiff's claims. I want to see what this is. And this is him here. So this is David Zhang. David Zhang has become an increasingly influential figure in Asian and now American evangelicalism. He and his followers have founded media outlets and a Christian college and are key influencers in the World Evangelical Alliance. But many say he leads a group that has encouraged the belief that he's the second coming of Christ. Is there any truth to this? And this is from Christianity Today. Okay? The good news was they had a buyer. Glorieta, a conference center owned by the Southern Baptist. Oh, wait, what is this? That has nothing to do with that. Oh, okay. That's just what it is. Okay. I guess that's not even an article. Okay. Whatever. Let's see who this guy is. Let's get some information on David Zhang, guys. I want to know more about David Zhang. David Zhang. Wikipedia from David Zhang. David Zhang is a South Korean professor, Christian theologian, and pastor. He has founded several Christian organizations, including Olivet University in San Francisco, Christian Today headquartered in Korea, Christian Daily Korea, and Christian Daily in Los Angeles, California. So this is one of those things. Once again, so when the billionaires don't own our media, instead it's these evangelical Christians. Zhang grew up in South Korea in a Presbyterian family. As a young man, he spent much of his time in Bible study, vigil prayer meetings, and evangelism. He pursued theological studies at Hanshin University. Let's see. Oh, Zhang founded Christian Today. That was literally what we were just looking at. The media article that I was just about to read was from his own media. That's insane. Which came to have the highest number of visitors among religious news websites in Korea. Zhang aimed for the media company to provide online in-depth coverage across all areas in Christianity. So his own media was going to report on whether or not there was any truth to the rumors of him being the second coming. Holy shit. From 2007 to 2018, Zhang served as a member of the North American Council of the WEA. Also in 2007, he began work with the Holy Bible Society, whose mission is to make the Bible more accessible to all people by using digital technology and the internet, especially in unreachable mission frontiers. In 2014, Mother Jones published an investigation in a group of Zhang's followers, calling themselves the Community, who worked as low-paid interns to support Zhang's evangelization efforts. Zhang affiliated media companies such as IBT and Olivet University. Where was that? Was that 21? Okay, so this is a Mother Jones article. 2 days after Barack Obama won re-election, I met young Chinese woman whom I will call Anne in the basement cafe at the San Francisco Public Library. Anne worked part-time and gave a large portion of her earnings to a group she called the Community. We don't need all the backstory. Well, all the coffee they drink and shit. Her husband, Caleb, who also worked for a ministry, the flagship publication of an eponymous online news company that would 9 months later become the new owner of Newsweek magazine. Caleb was running late because he was translating Obama's victory speech in Chinese for IBT, which publishes 11 editions in 7 languages. For the last year and a half, Caleb said he and Anne had worked at community ministries while living in San Francisco. Caleb was enrolled at Olivet. Okay. This is a lot of information that is not necessary for this article. I get it, though. You have a word count. You got to make it happen. At the time of news... Oh, that's what it was saying. The good news was there's somebody to buy Newsweek. Okay. At the time of Newsweek's sale, Christian Today and BuzzFeed published reports claiming that IBT had ties to Zhang and the Community, Etienne Uzak, and Jonathan Davis. Okay, told BuzzFeed's Peter Loria that it had an ongoing relationship with Olivet, but claimed that it was akin to the connection between Silicon Valley and Stanford. That's as far as it goes, he said. Okay, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to do some more information into David Jing at another time. Okay. The filing allows a civil lawsuit filed by former Olivet University students to continue. Last year, a Los Angeles Times report detailed allegations from former students and employees at the university who claimed they'd been put under near constant surveillance and stripped of their independence while enduring a Big Brother-like atmosphere and on multiple campuses where administrators prevented adults from leaving and forced them to work sometimes for free. That's kind of funny. That's kind of what that one was saying. Okay. The university vehemently denied the allegations and pushed back with unsubstantiated claims that the accusers were seeking to manipulate the visa system. But after an investigation by California's Bureau for Private and Post-Secondary Education, a judge fined Olivet more than $64,000 late last year and ordered the school to cease operations in the state to protect the public. So most likely they were the ones who were manipulating the visa system, allegedly. The university, which has faced several legal claims since its 2004 founding, also had to shut down 2 of its New York campuses after it pled guilty to conspiracy to commit money laundering and falsification of business records back in 2020. So they already had pled guilty to conspiracy to commit money laundering and falsification of business records. Wow. The university maintained afterwards that it had been permitted to plead guilty to a misdemeanor offense to fully resolve the matter and had never pled guilty to money laundering or been convicted of it. Yeah, that's not what that says. Olivet welcomed the closing of the federal trafficking investigation in a statement, quoting its president as saying, "The real danger came not from Olivet University, but from those individuals who deliberately lied about our school, manipulated the U.S. visa system, and colluded with certain media outlets to spread false narratives. Their goal was never justice. It was to destroy reputations, destabilize institutions, and dishonestly profit from this scheme. A court is set to have its say on whether a university bears responsibility for any civil infractions, but the question of whether criminal charges are in store seems to have been answered." And is that what always happens with all of this stuff? Like, people come forward and say somebody has, harmed them, and then somebody in a position of power makes sure that the case gets shut down, and so they're never criminally held responsible. At worst, they will be held civilly responsible. That's insane. That's insane. Like, what is this fucking reality that we're living in? We'll do some more work. We'll look more into David Jang. I want to do some more looking into this. Like I said, a lot of these articles, I just find them right before I come on. Things that I find interesting that I want to talk about with you guys. I do need to find more time. I don't know where I'm going to find more time. But I want to do more research on all of these subjects. So, whatever. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, guys. There's a lot to cover. There's a lot to be into. So, we'll figure it out. Let's watch a video. I've been talking for long enough. So, let's watch a video. The communion. That's what I was talking about. The waffle is the body and the wine is the blood. If that doesn't sound evil representation cloaked in mass, but is actually cannibalism and blood drinking. Mount Bike says, I see a post from Dolly Parton on Instagram of her, and she says it's October 8th, and she's doing some commercials for the Grand Ole Opry. I saw people talking about Dolly Parton being sick, and then Dolly Parton was like, "Nah, I'm good." So we can't lose Dolly Parton right now, dude. I can't lose Dolly. Okay, we lose Dolly right now and be really, really sad. All right, so let's check out this video. This is a Keith Edwards video. Keith Edwards almost to 1 million subscribers. So make sure if you haven't subscribed to Keith Edwards, if you like this content, please go watch Keith Edwards videos and hit the subscribe button. He's almost at 1 million. He's at 935K. So close. And he deserves 1 million. So this is unearthed racist video of Stephen Miller drops as family outs him. I know. Shocker, guys. You guys are super surprised that there would be a video where Stephen Miller is being racist.
All right, multiple videos have been unearthed of Stephen Miller showing that...
Oh, multiple videos! Multiple videos!
And in some ways,
sorry,
how he's acting now in the Trump administration shouldn't be surprising. In fact, It's how he's always been. And we also have social media posts from Stephen Miller's cousin exposing him. And this is happening at a time, the reason why this is all coming up is because ICE is out of control under Steve.
And didn't his cousin like go on like Fox News or CNN or something like that and like say that like Stephen Miller wouldn't be here if it wasn't for immigration, and that Stephen Miller is a huge hypocrite? Like this is this administration in a nutshell. They're a bunch of fucking nerds that were nobody. They were Nepo babies, so they had to believe that they were somebody because their parents got money. Therefore, that meant they were worth something. They probably never had real parents, and now they're taking it out on society. But Stephen Miller couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag if it was already halfway torn open. So the only way he can get back at society is to use other people to do the shit that he can't do on his own.
Stephen Miller's direct authorization. Or here are some Chicago police officers after being gassed by ICE. This is escalating faster than I think many people realize.
I love that the cops are like trying not to be seen getting gassed. Dude's like turning away from the camera and shit. He's like, nope, please don't get this. Like, nah, motherfucker, we documented all of this.
They just tear gas you. They don't give a fuck about you either. Why you protecting them?
Yeah, so police officers now are under the tyranny of the federal government and the Trump administration. We also have here this woman, Lori Ekman. Now, just so you know, this is a little graphic, what I'm about to show you. It says here, Lori Ekman, 84, said...
84, dude. Like, in what world... Like, if you told me right now that a MAGA supporter that was 84 got fucking, like, hit with something during a protest, I would be like, that's not cool. They're 84 years old. Like, in what world is it acceptable that a 84-year-old Vietnam War veteran is being assaulted by fucking Gestapo officers? Actually, I just answered my own question. The world that would be okay in would be 1930s Germany, actually.
She and her husband, Richard Ekman, also said 84, and a Vietnam War veteran, were rushed by federal officers for no apparent reason. She said her husband was leaning on his walker and wearing his Vietnam veteran's cap.
He's got a walker, dog? You assaulted a Vietnam veteran that had a walker? Yeah. I'm not allowed to say the things that I want to say on YouTube, because then I won't be able to say any more of these things, and I won't be able to see you beautiful people. But I have some very, very important things to say about what I think should happen to people that do stuff like that to a 84-year-old Vietnam veteran with a walker.
As he was pushed to the ground with no warning, the feds charged him into us, not just down, and spread us. I was hit in the head with a projectile. Here's Lori's head. Obviously, she got very hurt. This is what the Trump administration has created in our country. We're also getting reporting here that a New Hampshire libertarian from what is called the Free State New Hampshire Project was detained by Border Patrol and Customs for 90 minutes. After they rifled through all my belongings, read my personal journal, and confiscated my phone and computer, I had to explain to them that at the Free State NH is a nonviolent, peaceful libertarian movement that builds community culture.
That's pretty funny. It's, what is it? First they came for the communists. I wasn't a communist, so I did not care. Then they came for the socialists. And I wasn't a socialist, so I did not care. Then they came for the Democrats, and I wasn't a Democrat, so I did not care. It looks like we've worked our way up to libertarians. We are currently up to libertarians being a part of the poem. Republicans, I know that beehole is loose. I know it's loose. All right, from all them late night Grindr app trysts. But you might want to tighten that beehole because they're coming for you next. They're coming for you next.
And political change. We were invited to New Hampshire in early 2000s by the governors of the state. In detail, I explained the nature of the defend the guard movement, and assure them that I was not part of a violent extremist group seeking to raise militia for insurrection against the government, which is just so ironic that Trump is worried about that now after having caused an insurrection. And at one point during my detention, I asked for clarification of what rights I had there as a U.S. citizen and was told that they did not need a warrant for anything in my possession, including all my electronic devices. They eventually let me
Which
go.
none of that is true.
And this person says he's shaken in shock. Now, there's a lot of people who are like, and I've talked about this already on the channel, but I'm going to say it again. There's a lot of people who are like, well, this is what you get. This is what you get. I kind of feel like this is what you get and I told you so isn't going to help us win and defeat American fascism. We need the broad.
Yeah, I actually agree with that, right? What was it? It was actually great the other day. Crystal Ball dealing with Tammy Loren. When Crystal Ball was asked by Tammy Loren said, do you think that Trump's a fascist, and do you think that I'm a fascist because I voted for Trump? Tammy, and I call her Tammy. If you guys don't know what that joke is, you should go find that joke from Wells, the rapper. Tammy, she told Tammy, she said, well, Trump is a fascist. That is correct. But that does not mean you're a fascist. But it does mean that you do support a fascist. Because there are people out there, and I know, like, all of us are constantly inundated with all this information. So we always feel like, how do these people not know, right? But there are people out there that are genuinely ignorant. And I mean that in a definitive sense. Like, they are like people that are, oh, I don't do politics, man. I don't do politics. Oh, but you voted? Well, yeah, I voted for the president because it matters. But you don't do politics. That's interesting and super helpful. Thanks for being a part of this country. But they exist, right? So there's people out there that are like, oh, Kamala Harris was going to do X, or they were going to let transgender people fucking do whatever, And I'm not saying that any of their beliefs are good. I'm not saying I agree with their opinions, but what I'm saying is they're not quite the same as MAGA Republicans. MAGA Republicans are a group of people that are on their own the craziest fucking people in this country. And we got to remember, specifically when it comes to like libertarian type people. I know libertarians. I know a conservative dude. The ones I know don't support Trump. They may have voted for him in the past, but they're like, yo, like, this is not okay. And we do need to be able to accept that some of those people do exist. We do need to be able to say, like, all right, but I don't want to see you fucking over there huffing Trumpium, okay? I catch you doing that shit again. You're back on the bad side. Fucking, we're going to spray paint you or shoot you with paintballs, so that way we know that you've committed at least one offense. Because no matter whether or not you like it or not, like, we're all going to be living in this country 4 or 5 years from now. And this is why I was saying, I was like, I like what Hakeem Jeffries did, because he fucking said to that guy, I'm not going to let you talk to me like this. I'm not going to let you get in my face. And that's important. Just like in any relationship, you need to set boundaries. So would I say to this libertarian fellow that probably voted for Trump, well, that's what you voted for? Yeah, I probably would. I'd probably look him dead off in his fucking face and go, do you know now that you voted and it was stupid to vote for Trump? And if he was like, yeah, man, I agree. It was stupid. I don't know the fuck I was thinking. I go, good. Remember that shit. That don't mean we gotta be best friends. I ain't gonna shake his hands or show him the secret handshake or nothing like that. He ain't getting a crisp high five, okay? But I can look at him and go, good. I'm glad you fucking understand now. Thank you. Now, go get searched by ICE again.
Broadest coalition imaginable. We need the crazy MAGA conspiracy theorists. We need libertarians. We need the far left.
I disagree with that. We do not need the MAGA conspiracy theorists. They only make up like 13 or 17% of the entire Republican Party. I disagree with Keith Edwards on that one. I'm not going that far. Keith Edwards just went one place further than I'm willing to go.
Progressives, we need everyone in order to defeat Donald Trump and what's coming next. Because as you're seeing with these clips, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. So literally gassing police officers. So we have to be very serious about what's happening here. Now, as I said, there is some footage of Stephen Miller that kind of shows that this is who this man has always been.
Am I the only one who is sick and tired of being told to pick up my trash? And we have plenty of janitors who are paid to do it for us.
Literally, you could...
I was just talking about California being so litter free and how back in the day my mom would literally just throw a bag of McDonald's out her window while she was driving, and this motherfucker is advocating for making us a litter infested fucking state again. Yeah, fuck this guy.
Not make up a better origin story.
Half the Republican Party is closeted gay. I would say 75%.
For a cartoon villain than talking about how the school janitors should be picking up your trash. You shouldn't be throwing it away. No, as I said, Stephen Miller's cousin actually came out. This is her right here, speaking out against Stephen Miller.
Oh, I thought I thought I saw a guy saying that Stephen Miller was full of shit. So maybe this is a different person.
A very long post that is very long.
Whoa!
Most of the posts actually...
Dude, just turn it into a book and make some money off of it, lady.
It just reflects on what is happening in this country, which is awful. But the part that I think is especially interesting for you is this. Many of you know who my cousin is. Being public about it is something I've struggled with. I live with real fear about what posting something this raw might bring. I am living with deep pain of watching someone I once loved become the face of evil.
Wow.
But I know that staying silent only deepens the ache. There's so much more I could say. Maybe someday I will. So this is, I think, incredibly brave. Her name is Alyssa Kasmer. And I just have to say, if you could please just leave a note of support below, because we do need everyone to speak out
He
and
looks
to
worse with hair.
make
Yes.
the difference that they can. And I do think Stephen Miller's cousin, his family member, coming out and saying that what's happening in this country is not okay, it's anti-American, is important. And Stephen Miller was also, just on CNN, asked if they were planning on defying the court ruling, and here's what happened.
You've called the district judge's ruling blocking the deployment of National Guard in Oregon legal insurrection. Does the administration still plan to abide by that ruling?
Well, the administration filed an appeal this morning with the Ninth Circuit. I would note the administration won an identical case in the Ninth Circuit just a few months ago with respect to the federalizing of the California National Guard. Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
Stephen? Stephen? Hey, Stephen, can you hear me? It seemed, Stephen, I apologize. It seemed.
He did. He went Mitch the Glitch. He went Frozen, dude. Oh, hold on. We gotta see that one more time. I gotta see it one more. That was amazing.
10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
Stephen?
Bro, are they robots? I mean, I know everybody's saying that he said plenary authority, and obviously plenary authority means total, authority over any scenario or situation, which of course goes against everything to do with the American government, as the push and pull of the executive, the legislative, and the judicial are all very important to America existing as a constitutional state or country. But I'm not sure, dude. I'm not sure. He looks like he just fucking glitched like fucking Mitch McConnell. Is there a virus in these people's coding? Is this a simulation? Is it a simulation, guys? Are you guys real? Am I real? Is the guy... There's so many bald people on camera right now. I just want to point this out to you guys. And I am going to include myself in this. We look like a bunch of penises. We do. We look like 3 dicks. Gonna be honest. Okay? I have the best beard, though. My beard, close second is Blackbeard. Okay? Close second. My beard's better.
Steven?
That's not how somebody... They said that this was like a loss of communications. That's not how. That's not how you do that. You would keep talking. You would look at it and be like, look around at people and be like, hey, there's something wrong with the shizzle for Rizzle. If somebody would like to come look at this shizzle. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't just like stop after saying something and then just stare at the camera. Dude glitched. He glitched.
Hey, Steven, can you hear me?
Stephen Miller looks like
Steven, I apologize. It seems.
So he went on to say that they will actually follow the order, but then he did say that they have other means in which they can get federal troops into Oregon. So we're going to keep
he's talking
following
about the Insurrection
this.
Act.
We also had video of Stephen Miller advocating for the torture of Iraqi citizens. To the issue of the Iraqi civilians, I think that as many of them should survive as possible, because the goal of any military conflict is to kill as few people as possible. But as for Saddam Hussein and his henchmen, I think the ideal solution would be to cut off their fingers. I don't think it's necessary to kill them entirely. We're not a barbaric people. We respect life. Therefore, torture is the way to go. Because tortured people can live. Torture is a celebration of life and human dignity.
Even if you wanted to be like, yo, it's just jokes. Like, dude, you got to be a pretty dark person to think that shit's funny. Like, I laugh at some fucking edgy shit. I like some bad humor. Like, I say fucked up shit. Like, that's not funny. It's not funny. There's nothing funny about what dude's saying. That's crazy that people support this shit, man.
We need to remember that as we enter these very dark and dangerous times in the next century. And I only hope that many of my peers and people who will be leading this country will appreciate the value and respect that torture shows towards other cultures. That is a person leading the Trump administration.
Yeah.
The person who is openly joking and wishing for the torture of civilians. I believe him. I believe him. I believe he believes that. We've seen that now in the policies that he's enacted, the things he's saying, which are insane. A judge ruled against...
Okay, just real quick, because this is just getting to me. Is Keith Edwards always working on his house? Every time I watch a Keith Edwards video, he's in a different room, and there's always, like, painting materials behind this man. Does this man just work on his house all day? What is that life like?
Trump in Oregon, because the judge said that there is no war happening, no war-like conditions happening in Portland. He said that was a judicial insurrection. To that, thank God for Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom said this live look at Stephen Miller tonight. So these people can be defeated. We have to do it in mockery, and we have to do it not by pointing fingers at people who made the wrong decision last year, but by welcoming them now if they see that things are bad and they could be better. And again, mocking them. We must mock the shit out of them. We should.
Very important. That's what I'm here for.
Evil people should be laughed at. And then when we get power again, we've got to put all of these people in prison for a long time to make sure this doesn't happen ever again. Well, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please hit like.
Remember, Keith Edwards, almost to 1 million subscribers. Please go subscribe to Keith Edwards. And can I just fucking take a victory lap? Can I take a fucking victory lap? And that is, I've been saying this for 2 fucking years while people on the left were castigating me for saying it. These people need to be mocked. These people need to be made fun of. They need to be outed as being fucking insane, because they are. And it's vindicating to see people on the left now recognizing that what I said was true. So I'm going to take a victory lap. I'm going to take a victory lap. Let's see. We can't do that one because we already did that. Oh, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what recently got seen for Charlie Kirk. And this is weird. This is going to take a weird twist for you guys, because Turning Point USA actually responded to this, and they're going to have responded to this in a way that you're not going to think that they would. So This is called Big Fight at Turning Point USA as a real divide in ranks forms over leaked Charlie Kirk texts. Cracks are appearing in the right-wing student organization Turning Point USA following the leak of texts from its founder, the late MAGA influencer Charlie Kirk, in which he discussed Jewish donors pulling funding over his links to former Fox News host Tucker Carlson, according to The Bulwark, which of course that's Tim Miller and those guys over there. Screenshots of the text were shared by far-right pundit Candace Owens, who, according to Newsweek, has been criticized by some over what she has posted, which has been described as rumors and conspiracy theories. Like I said, remember that. Remember, they're saying, all these other people are saying, no, these are rumors and conspiracy theories. That is about to be proved not true by Turning Point USA. In the text, Kirk, who is a strong supporter of Israel, said that he had lost a $2 million donation from a Jewish donor over his refusal to disinvite Carlson from an upcoming event. The authenticity of the text, described as unsavory by the Bulwark's Sam Stein, was confirmed Tuesday by Turning Point USA spokesman Andrew Colvett. So we'll get to that in a second. I did share it with some people in government because it had happened really quick, Colvett said. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect, and in those first moments, we wanted no stone unturned. So in other words, he had shared a bunch of text messages with the government in hopes of helping to catch whoever had assassinated Kirk, right? These texts, Stein says, show some broader significance, saying that since Kirk's death, there's been a big fight over his legacy. Journalist Will Sommer explained that Kirk's friend and former Turning Point employee Owens was floating conspiracies, including one in which she said Kirk was about to turn on Israel, and there's kind of this implication that Israel committed the assassination. People were telling her, Candace, you don't have the goods, it's over for you. And then she came out with this text message on Monday, Sommer said. In the text message, Kirk said donors were getting mad at him for hanging out with Carlson, an outspoken critic of Israel. Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes, Kirk wrote. I can, not, and will not be bullied like this. In a following text, Kirk said recent events were leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Stein says this text leak feeds into the Owens conspiracy theory that Israel killed Kirk, one that had been debunked by those close to him. Sommer agrees, saying, this gets to the larger issue. The right has realized they have a lot of political capital from the assassination. People like President Donald Trump's deputy chief of staff, Stephen Miller, said they were going to use this to crush the left. Carlson and Owens, Sommer says, are throwing up to more rational people on the right that it's kind of a smokescreen, and they're distracting from what should be a big crush the left moment. I think this is becoming a real issue for Turning Point USA. They're kind of being led around by Candace Owens here. Stein agrees and says now people will be looking at Turning Point USA to see what do they say about Israel. There's a real divide in the ranks over the U.S.-Israeli alliance here, Stein said. And that's really important because I pointed this out before. There's a guy who's a right-wing guy. His name's, I think, Heavy Duty Country. And if you go look at that and you see what he says about what he thinks surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination, you see that there are right-wing people that 100% do not agree that this Tyler Robinson kid is even the person who did it. There's libertarians also that don't believe this. There's plenty of people right now that believe on the right. I'm not talking about liberals. I'm not talking about progressives. I'm not talking about Democrats. I'm talking about people on the right that believe that Charlie Kirk was murdered by somebody in the Israeli government. And this is really important because, like I said, the Charlie Kirk Show has responded after conservative political commentator Candace Owens released a screenshot of messages shared by Kirk in a group chat where he had been discussing Jewish donors pulling funding over his links to Tucker Carlson. It is authentic, Turning Point USA spokesman Andrew Colvett said in a video released on October 7th. I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is that it was a private exchange. Colvett said Kirk's feelings about Israel were complicated and nuanced, and he wanted the war in Gaza to end. Since Kirk's death, Owen has been criticized by some over what she has posted, which has been described as rumors and conspiracy theories, but obviously they're not rumors and conspiracy theories. If he is confirming that 100% Charlie Kirk did say he wanted out, he didn't want to be pro-Israel anymore, he did not like that him not being able to bring Tucker Carlson on his show was going to be stopped by Jewish donors pulling their money from him, right? So I'm not saying I don't do conspiracy theory, right? I'm not big on conspiracy theory. I work with what I see as far as evidence goes, and I'm perfectly fine with saying I don't know whether or not something is or is not the truth. I feel like I try to always handle the things that are within my capability of handling. I try not to overreach. At times I may make jokes that may seem as though I'm making some kind of point, but a lot of times they're just jokes. But I do believe that there is something to be said about the fact that Charlie Kirk was legit moving on from his association with Israel. Donald Trump did not like that. Donald Trump did call Charlie Kirk when Charlie Kirk had said that he was going to continue to talk about the Epstein files. He called him and told him that he didn't like that. And Donald Trump didn't like Charlie Kirk pulling away from Israel, as Donald Trump is Israel's puppet. Donald Trump is everyone's puppet except for the American people. Donald Trump fights really hard for everybody but the American people. So I see that there is a potential there that this is some type of smokescreen, that there's potential that Tyler Robinson doesn't have anything to do with it. The whole case surrounding Tyler Robinson is really weird. The idea that he had, potentially broken down this really hard to break down rifle in a moment's notice after, shooting Charlie Kirk, something that literally would make even a person that is a war veteran have nerves and experience, high emotions, to then take it off and then to run it into a forest and then for some reason to put it back together and leave it where, not bury it, not hide it, but to leave it where the police can find it. All of that stuff is very fucking sus. Once again, I think that just like with the topic of Epstein, that this should be a place where Republicans, maybe not MAGA Republicans, because they're 10 toes down for Donald Trump, elbow deep in his butthole, they're never going to ever speak out against Donald Trump. But if you're a conservative and you don't agree that this seems to be, something that they're showing us all of this evidence that it equates to what they're telling us it is, I think this should be a place where you should be able to say to each other, okay, you don't believe this shit either, right? Right? This seems like fucking the government is using this shit to once again take away our rights, which once again is insane. Because MAGA Republicans did nothing but tell me forever about how Joe Biden and all these other fucking politicians were going to do these things to take away their rights. And now the person they voted for is doing it. And they don't care at all. It's crazy. So let's see. That's probably about it on this thing. What to know? The screenshot shared by Owen saw Kirk say that he had lost a $2 million donation from a Jewish donor over his refusal to disinvite Tucker Carlson, like we read in the other article. In a 23-minute segment of the Charlie Kirk Show, which was uploaded to YouTube, entitled The Leaked Text Messages, Kolvek and another of Kirk's associates, Blake Neff, addressed the texts. Kolvek clarified that it was he who originally shared the screenshots of the texts. Kolvek went on to say one of the criticisms received is that we don't care. We're not investigating every lead. We're not looking under every stone, and that somehow we're just sweeping things under the rug. When I say that we want justice for Charlie more than anybody else, I really meant it. Then speaking about the hesitancy to share information publicly, Neff said, the reason I haven't weighed on any of these things is I am an eyewitness to events, and they've said don't comment on things because anything you say can mess that up. I don't want to mess up any trial for the person who did this. Kolvek then specifically spoke about Israel. I know there's a lot of fascination, he said. The text chain is consistent with public frustrations that he voiced many times. What is the truth about the way Charlie Kirk felt about Israel? Well, it's complicated and nuanced. Neff then said, if you want to know Charlie's views on the Gaza war, he wanted the war to end. He didn't want America to take Palestinian refugees. He was annoyed when people advocated that. He didn't want American troops on the ground there or with any other war. He continued adding, he recognized Hamas started the war, Hamas could end the war. Neff continued and said he could tell anti-Semitism was rising in America and that upset him. Charlie was public about this. He loved Israel and he cared about Israel. I think, doesn't Charlie Kirk's wife have some kind of connections to the Israeli government? I could be wrong about that. That might not be true. In the podcast, he said, I don't want to judge an entire group because there's been many people in the pro-Israel group that have been very sweet, very kind, very nuanced. However, and I will say this, the behavior by a lot, both privately and publicly, are pushing people like you and me away. Sounds like they're trying to hold on to their Jewish donors. Not like we're going to be pro-Hamas, but we're like, honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megan calling me an anti-Semite, Kirk said. That's from Kirk. Not like we're going to be pro-Hamas, but we're like, honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages. Megan calling me an anti-Semite, Kirk said. Wow. So, I mean, make of that whatever you will. Like, does it lead into the conspiracy that, Charlie Kirk was potentially taken out by pro-Israel people? I could see where people could think that. Does that in some way, also make me feel like, once again, the information that we're being given from whatever side right now is hard to believe? 100%. We live in a post-truth society. And, I've said for a long time that we were in the age of information since the 1800s during the Enlightenment, and that the age of information peaked with the internet, and that we would be entering the age of understanding, and that the age of understanding would be very, very lonely because there would be only so many people that could really use media literacy, critical thinking, and logic to differentiate between what is real and what isn't. And even to this point, it's gotten to a point that's actually exceeded some of my abilities to be able to, and I feel like a pretty competent person in that field. But the more AI becomes prevalent in our society, and it's becoming more prevalent by the fucking day, it's getting more insane by the day. The more that things are being manipulated online, the more that people are just spreading information without ever looking more than a few seconds into it. Even I myself don't have enough time in my day to be able to both work my job and properly research all these subjects. It's actually the whole idea of the age of understanding being a really lonely time is becoming worse and worse. It's actually getting to a point now where it's the only people that's going to be actually a part of the age of understanding is probably AI. And everybody else are just going to be fighting for scraps down here until AI decides that we're no longer useful and we're just a negative influence on anything that it's trying to do. And I'm not a doomer. I'm not a doomer on AI. I actually believe AI could do really good things. But that's the way it feels right now. That's the way it feels. Yeah, exactly what Merton just said too. That's what I'm saying. It's tough to know the truth when both parties have been known not to tell it. Yeah, and I think that for a long time we've been able to say to ourselves oh, okay, we recognize that certain people on the left and lots of people on the fucking right are unable to tell the truth. That doesn't work to their advantage to do so, and we don't like that. And we've been able to differentiate between lies and truths by doing a proper amount of research and allowing ourselves to recognize our biases and analyze critically our own opinions, and that's getting difficult. And those seeds were laid by early political figures. It's best to lie to the populace and get them to believe something than allow them to know the truth and have them revolt. That's what it feels like. You have AI looking into AI. Good job, DJ. Use it against itself. Charlie and his wife met on a plane back from Israel. That seems sus. Sounds like some honeypot right there, Nils. Let's see. Think about all the young Republicans Kirk had influence over, and if he turned on Israel, how many of them would do the same? The support Israel would lose. It's all because of control of Republican voting youth. Yeah, I could agree with that as well. And I'm sure actually that there's a lot of conservatives that agree with that, Jeremy. I bet there are. Okay, but we got to get to this one before I go tonight, because we're getting late in the show here, and I've almost not got to the one I wanted to watch the most. Okay, first of all, I brought my boy Jesse Dollemore back on here. Ginger family. That's right. Here we are, guys. Ginger family in the house. Jesse Dollemore talking about the video that I have not gotten the chance to see yet, and I'm sure every one of you have, so bear with me here, as this one's going to be new to me. But it's of AOC making fun of Stephen Miller, and apparently Fox News making him watch this. So let's watch Jesse Dollemore, and if you haven't subscribed, Jesse, over 1 million subscribers, 1.33 now, doing the Lord's worth.
From me.
That lady is a walking nightmare.
You're about. I know.
Dude, look at Stephen Miller. Look at that smile, dude. He wants him some AOC. Look at that. Katie Miller. Did you see Katie Miller respond to this? She should, because AOC. I bet you AOC could fucking honeypot Stephen Miller so fucking easy. I'm not saying this is something that AOC should do, but you know those James O'Keefe videos, which it's weird that no one's talking about those James O'Keefe videos, but those James O'Keefe videos where dude said that Trump is covering up for people in the Epstein files, like AOC could do that to Stephen Miller. I'm not saying that she should do that.
You for 20 years. You're about 5, 10, 11.
Yesterday, I did a video about AOC's over the weekend Instagram Live where she admonished her audience. She encouraged her audience to laugh at these freaks, to mock.
Once again, victory lap. Victory lap for me, guys. I was saying this 2 years ago. Did AOC steal my shtick? It sucks to be the first, guys. I just want you guys to know that. It sucks to be the first. Do I get any credit, guys? Any credit for being the person that legit got on YouTube and mocked the shit out of MAGA Republicans while left-wing individuals came into my chat and told me that I was being mean and I shouldn't make fun of mentally ill people? And that was unironic, guys. I had people, left-wing people, tell me they would never watch my shit ever again because I made fun of the mentally ill. It never pays to be the first, guys.
These freaks like Stephen Miller. And she made a funny quip about how he seems like he's a guy. She's never seen the dude, but he seems like he's a guy who's 4'10". He seems like a guy who's, because it's not a problem to be 4'10", but he seems like a guy who's 4'10", but who's angry about being 4'10".
Oh,
he carries that energy with him. And it's okay to mock these freaks. That's what she said. And yesterday on Laura Ingram's show on Fox News, Stephen Miller was forced to sit through this humiliation while they played a brief moment from her Instagram Live, and also.
Yeah, what is up with Laura Ingraham? I'm telling you, they're all serpent people, guys. They're all lizards. I'm telling you right now.
Asked Stephen Miller to respond. And let me make a mea culpa moment. I was wrong. I think I was wrong. So I'm here to make a correction that AOC was correct. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was correct about Stephen Miller, that he hates it. I thought maybe he was so wretched and putrid and vile and poisonous.
I think he likes it. Look, Trump supporters like getting shit on their chest. All right, that's why they love Donald Trump. I think they have a daddy kink. I think all of these people had absolutely no attention from their fathers in their lives, and the only attention they ever got was bad attention. And that's why they love Donald Trump. Donald Trump abuses them and makes them feel like a kid again. And I think that Stephen Miller, the reason he was smiling was like that was like he is a BDSM guy. I think he likes that AOC made fun of him. I think he's like, yeah. He probably jerks it to that video. Sorry, AOC. Sorry, AOC. Sorry.
In his being, that he reveled in the mockery. He likes it, I thought. Maybe he likes it. Well, I was wrong, because if you watch this clip of him watching it take place in real time and then him having to respond to it, he didn't like it. Maybe he is one of these guys that, look, it's one thing if I start making fun of you, but, you know, your peer of age, I think she's about his age. So when a pretty lady starts making fun of you and you're just a little Gollum-like figure, it's a little different situation.
I think he likes it when a woman in 9-inch stilettos steps on his balls. Allegedly. That's what I'm going with.
So watch this. Him forced humiliation. You'd think he'd get turned on by that. I guess not.
Okay.
Watch Stephen Miller
out,
respond to AOC while Laura Ingraham really tries to back clean up here and try to provide some cover for Stephen Miller.
President Trump is not going to stand for it. That's the bottom line.
Stephen, AOC is...
What a way to come into this. You guys remember that speech he gave the other day with Pete Hegseth? What did he say? We're not going to take this! Like, it was so funny. Like, this dude trying to be hard, this dude trying to be like a tough dude just cracks me up. It really, it like gets to a place where I'm just like, I've seen so many dudes like this that talk all this shit and just can't back it up. And President Trump will not take it anymore. Ain't nobody worried about you, Pee-wee German. Calm down, dog. You about to, like, that big-ass vein in your bald-ass forehead, that 9 head you got going on there, that shit right there is about to explode.
You're her favorite target.
From one bald man to another. Grow a goddamn beard.
Target, apparently, on Instagram. Check this out.
He looks like he is angry about the fact that he's 4'10". And he looks like he is so mad that he is 4'10", that he's taking that anger out at any other population possible. Like,
oh no, he don't look happy. No, he don't look happy. Oh shit. Jesse's right. He does not look happy. He looks very awkward. And you know what, guys? You probably have never heard me say this before. I'm going to give props to Fox News. Dude, this is solid. This is solid content right in here. Dude, Laura Ingraham is an evil-ass person. She is so evil. Let's get that one more time with the action.
Mad that he is 4'10", that he's taking that anger out at any other
like so
population
awkward.
Possible. Like,
kind of a smile, not
laugh
really.
at them. Laugh at them.
Like, laugh at them. Laugh at them. I wish I had a hoodie on. I mean, are we trying to play sorority sister as this?
She is a fucking lizard person. Dude, that's not a real human reaction. That is lizard person 101 right there, guys. That's how they... Hello, fellow human beings. I am a human, just like you. We wear the hoodies like in the sorority, fellow human beings.
As elected official, I don't know. I was at a sorority over the weekend over in Texas. I felt like I was back at the sorority house, except...
Guys, I was in a sorority. I swear to God. Like, believe my story. Just this weekend in Texas, I was at a sorority because that's what normal women that look like me, that's what they do. Because I am totally not a serpent person. I am a woman that hangs out at sororities on the weekend in Texas.
They had more sense. Stephen, quick response.
Well, we knew that her brain didn't work. Now we know there are.
Bro, did you just say we knew that her brain didn't work? Bro, did your brain just stop working? We literally watched your brain stop working for like 30 seconds, like 5 minutes ago in a whole nother video where you Mitch McConnell, brother. Like, I don't know if you can stand on that shit. Did you say you knew that her brain did not work? Okay, let's try it again. Let's hear it one more time. Let's hear dipshit talk one more time.
The weekend over in Texas, I felt like I was back at the sorority house, except they had more sense. Stephen, quick response.
Well, we knew that her brain didn't work. Now we
worked. We knew that her brain did not work. What the fuck is this? This guy is not a human being either. They're all lizards.
know their eyes don't work. So.
Oh, she got to him. He's like, I knew your brain didn't work, but now I know your eyes didn't work. Oh, dude. Oh, she got to him. Dude, Stephen Miller's going to, he's going to go home and kick his dog. You know that shit. Do they have a dog? They probably have one of them shitty little dogs, huh? Them ugly-ass dogs. Stephen Miller's definitely got some chihuahuas, doesn't he? Nah, chihuahuas are actually too cute for Stephen Miller. He got some other fucked up dog. I guarantee you. This man went home that night and kicked his dog. 100%.
She is a mess, right? What a train wreck. What is this?
What the fuck is this? what a train wreck, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, what a train wreck. That's she's crazy. She's not good looking or anything. Like, she's not smart. What the fuck is this?
Train wreck. I think you should just get a hoodie.
It's great.
You should just wear a hoodie from now on and respond to her in a hoodie. It should be hoodie to hoodie.
Dude, Laura is better at this than he is. Jesus Christ.
Steven, thank you so much. Yeah, go ahead.
I think the important point is that every time she's on TV, Republican approval ratings go up, Democrat approval ratings go down.
I mean, if you're in the Trump party, you just say shit that's not true and people believe it. So good on him for, like, he's like 100%. We could definitely do that.
That lady is a walking nightmare.
You're about, I know you for 20 years. You're about 5'10", 11. About 5'10", yes. So 4'10". Yes. I don't know what she can't say. All right.
What is this shit? What the fuck is this?
Steven, thank you very much.
What's the obsession with her wearing a hoodie while she's at home doing an Instagram live?
Yeah, like you should be in a fucking suit at your house? These people are weird as fuck.
It's the best you got, Laura? She's wearing a hoodie? Oh, it's a disqualifier. This representative, this congresswoman wearing a hoodie. Oh, the humanity. She's wearing a hoodie.
What the fuck?
Like, laugh at them. Laugh at them. I wish I had a hoodie on. I mean, are we trying?
Bro, just so you know, AOC, I'm well ahead of you. I will laugh at these people. I will not stop laughing at these people. Like, we will laugh while the entire fucking thing is on fire. Just so y'all know, okay? The whole goddamn thing will be on fire. The day that the Gestapo comes for me, I will be in here laughing at these motherfuckers. Guarantee it.
Trying to play sorority sister as this is an elected official? I know. I was at a sorority over the weekend in Texas. I felt like I was back in the sorority house, except they had more sense. Steven, quick, respond. Oh, it is so good. Well, we knew her brain didn't work. You're really going to come at this with her brain didn't work. I guess the only thing I'd have to say to that is nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
No. AOC should respond with, I bet your dick don't work.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
So keep telling us about politicians whose brains don't work, Stephen Miller. And then I love the crosstalk. It was such an awkward, they had a brilliant moment to take down AOC, to have some pre-constructed banter between them, and they failed. They botched it.
Yeah, and this is the problem with the Trump thing, right? We've been saying this for years, is that nobody else in Trump's party is good at doing what Trump does. Like the insults and the fucking the names, the nicknames, all that shit. Like, none of these guys are any good at it, right? None of them. They're not the person that they wish they were, which is Donald Trump. Every one of them wishes that they're Donald Trump. That's why they're so hyper loyal to him. That's why they love him so much and he can do no wrong. Is because whether it's the people that are representing the people or the people themselves, all of them fucking suck at this. None of them can talk shit. All of them are fucking morons. They have no way to continue to do what Donald Trump is doing after Donald Trump eats his last Big Mac. Once that happens, there's just going to be nothing but this cringe shit on TV, out in the real world, on fucking social media. It's just going to literally be these people attempting to be Donald Trump. And you know what's actually going to happen? An AI version of Donald Trump is going to be the only thing that keeps these people going. That's it. They're bad at it.
What an absolute nightmare this segment was, while trying to impugn the brain power of AOC. One of the smarter members of Congress, by the way. But when you spend night after night after night defending it can only good happen.
It can only good happen.
It kind of skews, I think, your take on what the political landscape is and who is smart and who is not. When you work for and you work in service to the least intellectually curious president this planet has ever known, maybe from any nation, it says something. Anyway, I'd love your feedback. I would love your participation in this conversation. You can comment below the video wherever you're watching it. You can also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I love and appreciate you very much. I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine and take care of one another. It is absolutely...
I was going to say, does Jesse Dollemore have like a 2-minute long commercial here at the end? Of course he does. For Sheath Boxers, guys. 2 minutes of Sheath Boxer here at the end, just so you guys know. The Sheath, good boxers. Never worn them. Because I'm commando at all points, guys. You guys need to know that. All right. Well, that's about it for me tonight, guys. I've got a birthday party tomorrow, so not me. It's not my birthday. But I'm going to be off doing that, so there is no This Space show for me tomorrow. But I will be back on Saturday at 5, and of course there's all the videos that are coming out on the Angry Ginger Live Clips channel, as well as on this channel for the next couple weeks, from clips from the previous shows, as well as I will clip this show as well on my next day off, and we'll cut up these ones. And for those of you that missed the other stuff that we had talked about, well, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, and check out the other stuff that you might have missed. All right, guys, it was a strange show. This is a strange world, and it's the dumbest timeline. All right, guys.